Leverret radio program is dedicated to debunking the delusional American mythology known as statism.
Initiation of force is always immoral.
Always think outside the government. Always, 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 always think outside the government.
Always, always, always.
Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah. Give me the mic so I can take it away.
Hell yes. Good day to you all, you crazy
Not
cat.
everybody should have power.
What the fuck is going on here? Hang on, it's my damn fault. Oh, there we are.
Was that your guy?
Yeah, that was. Well, I got a weird, funky noise coming through my left ear,
Yeah, I
but
do too.
I can deal with it.
I can deal with it. I'm so damn glad we finally got some bugs worked out, except for this bug in my left ear.
Yeah,
and the Schmohawken chief himself is back from the District of Criminals.
Hey, all you Schmohawks out there. What is this fucked up noise in my ear? That wasn't around in the testers earlier today. I don't care.
I'm to the point I don't care either. I'm just ready to broadcast. I'm this close to pulling some, what'd you call it? What's their names? Opie, Anthony?
Opie and Anthony, yeah.
And ripping my own broadcasters. I'm going to rip y'all's ass a new one.
I think it's going to work out well.
Yeah, fix that thing in our left ear.
Well, I'm working on it right now. If they can't hear it in the chat room, I don't give a shit.
Hey, chat room dudes, there's 7 million people in there. Do y'all hear this thing in your, if you're listening with headphones, you hear this thing in your left microphone ear?
If they can't hear it, I don't give a shit. I can totally deal. Maybe it's... No, it definitely clicked in when we got on to Bud. But it doesn't matter. We got a good show tonight. We've been loading up on material.
Yeah, we're kind of backed
weeks.
up. We're just a little backed up. And Ben is just so backed up, he's just ready to defend the gun grabbers.
Oh, my God. Not the gun. I'm not going to defend him. Oh, okay, Josiah says he's got the noise as well.
Okay, he's got the noise as well?
That's a new thing. Why didn't that happen in the test earlier tonight, Josiah? What's up with that?
Yeah, no shit.
Well, let's see.
Well, we do have the Proctors on backup. If we have to go the old Skype route, we can do the whole Skype route. We'll see. But Ken Holmes says he hears a cricket.
Yeah, buzzing. I hear the buzzing, too. It's pretty dramatic.
Okay.
Hang on. Let's try this.
Okay.
No, that did shit. That also did shit. Let's go Skype. So, you soloed yourself.
No, sounded good.
No, it's all there. Let's go Skype. What do you think?
Yep.
Let's do Skype.
Proctors, y'all okay with that? Go Skype?
I bet you they're on a little bit of a delay. Oh, someday we will have a real radio show, and we'll feel like a real boy.
I'm a real boy.
Just waiting for Proctor to answer me real quick, and then we'll probably just jump over to Skype. So y'all stick with us, because we do have a massive show today.
Yeah, Like I said, we're really, really backed up, and we got to get some things off of the proverbial chest.
Oh, he said it's not so bad. Let's stick with this for a little bit, because I spent 2 weeks in Washington, D.C. recently, and, man, I was very, very excited. I'm very excited to give you the report on how things are. I very much expected to get there and to find out that everyone there is trying to screw each other over, and, you know, they're all a bunch of dickheads, and they marginalize the Libertarian movement, and I cannot begin to... I'm happy to report that the complete opposite was true. Almost every single guest lecturer that I spoke with, or that just in their lecture, said, listen, the young people are into the liberty movement. All right? We're going to be dealing with libertarians for the rest of our careers, so we need to start preparing for that right now. Another thing they talked about is they will be cutting the defense budget. It's happening. It's happening right now. Now, it's only a matter of how much they're going to be cutting the defense budget. What is the role of the United States in... Oh, hey, there it is. There it was.
Unplug my charger, plug it back in. Voila.
Boom. I'm telling you
now.
The people in Washington, D.C. know that the liberty movement is here. They know that we're coming, and they're cool with it. They're cool with it. Now, here's what I think we have to do as the liberty movement. And we're going to get into the gun control debate, but I'm going to try to show you guys the proper framework within which to bring people into the liberty movement, or just to bring people onto the side of rationale. Because right now the rhetoric has gotten so entrenched that it's like World War I. It's just totally World War I. It's trench warfare, and it is not productive. It's no longer productive. If you're having the argument about gun control right now, and your argument is, well, if the government comes after me, I want to have a gun, or if your argument is, nobody needs 30-round magazine, you're not being productive.
Yeah, and I will add to this, and I think, Ben, I know what you're going to say, but I'm just going to add to this. All of the people saying, especially on Facebook, and even people I talk to, I mean, we do live in bush country. There's a bunch of gun toters here, which is cool. I'm a gun toter. I love my guns. All the ones saying, especially if you're a statist, saying, you'll never take my guns over my, except for my, out of my cold dead hands. Yeah, if you're a statist saying that, I hate to say it, but I just don't believe you. Governments have been liberty robbing for centuries, eons, since the dawn of time, and no one's ever spoke up for the people in jail for drug wars and for every other bullshit crime that governments just love to do. So if you're saying that, I don't believe you.
Yeah, nor should you believe them. Now, the other thing is, they're not coming for your guns, folks. I mean, even if you...
I want you to explain that.
So if you just actually look down the list on the 23 executive orders that President Obama signed, okay, 23 of them, most of them had to deal with the health care bill. I mean, only, I don't know, a handful or less actually had to do with gun control, and it was clearly cosmetic. Everything in there was just a very cosmetic thing.
So was it planned to get everybody riled up and just like the wag the dog type deal? Just are they doing something else or what?
Well, yeah, yes, but I don't think there's any massive conspiracy or anything. I just think that the media understands that people are going to be watching their news stations if there's some sort of controversial debate going on. All right, it's fear and consumption. What happened when the gun control debate suddenly showed up? Well, gun stores sold out of their shit. And in record numbers.
And I'm sure the mainstream media views went through the roof, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what it is it's a distraction. This is a way that the media provides the framework within which we're allowed the debate to exist, okay? Either you're for guns or you're against guns. Listen, what we all are against is folks rolling up into a school and killing kids. Right. That's what we're against. Let's concentrate on that. Let's stop allowing the media to provide the framework within which we are divided. All right? Stop doing that. Stop. Just disengage from that conversation.
Well, are you saying go to alternative media?
Well, I'd say go to all media. Go to all media because...
And then compare?
Yeah, compare.
And the reason I'm saying that, did you see Kokesh's video that he posted about a week and a half ago where he... is while you were in D.C., yeah. He interviewed this young sergeant. I'm not a military person. Forgive me. I don't know the lingo. This young kid, and the guy's like, yes, sir. Okay, if whatever you say, sir. And he even called him out. I really don't, Sergeant Bob, or whatever his name was, Staff Sergeant Bob.
I did see that. Yeah.
I don't think you're as stupid as you're letting on. Okay, sir, whatever you want to say.
Right.
But the title of the video, if you ask me, was brilliant. He said... how Obama will take your guns, which kind of goes back to what you're saying. It's nothing to do with legislation. It's nothing to do with the 23 things that all the media people, the mainstream media people are talking about, blah, blah, blah. All he's got to do is use military. All he's got to do is give his orders. They take blind orders. You know, there's no such thing as, the Oath Keepers being in there. Don't get me wrong, there are the Oath Keepers. I admire the Oath Keepers, but apparently at least this kid didn't show to have any sort of opinion. It's like he was looking around for a camera or something. Maybe he's going to get in trouble just following orders.
Yeah, but even that I think is a little bit too simplistic. I mean, how many civilians do you think our men and women in the military would shoot and kill before they suddenly went, what the hell am I doing? I'm shooting my own people here.
I think a lot, actually.
Well, certainly too many. I mean, one would be too many.
As drugged up as, well, of course, that goes without saying, as drugged up as the American sheeple are, they complained about marijuana and other such, God-made plants, and yet they'll just pop these SSRIs and pop the Xanny bars, and it fucks up their minds.
Well, yes, of course. But if you're saying, is the United States military about to launch a full-scale attack on the American people, I have a little bit more faith in our men and women who are serving, because they are there because in their whole value system they've been taught this is a good thing to do, is to go and protect
But what do you
these people.
say to the guys who are, I'm just doing my job, I'm just fulfilling orders?
How long did that work for you, Caleb? It worked for a while.
Yeah, till I'm 35 now. It worked till I was about 33.
I bet you if your job consisted of shooting American citizens, even American people, that it wouldn't have lasted that long. I mean, our soldiers already have they come back with massive mental disorders because they're shooting other people.
And because they have post-traumatic stress disorder, and they're prescribed, as Adam and many others said, not just Adam Kokesh, Adam House. I've seen his videos as well. He's the guy that started the Combat Veterans for Ron Paul. They put him on these prescriptions for anywhere from 5 up to a dozen, and half of them have a known side effect of suicide.
Right.
And even Adam House said, we'll have to have him on sometime. Maybe I'm not remembering correctly. Something to the effect of, if you're prescribed something from the VA to take care of whatever it is, your ailment, I assume post-traumatic stress disorder, it is actually considered an order. And if you don't take it, you're actually breaking orders.
Yeah, well, here's my opinion on the drugs. Is it does work for some people. All right, it does. So psychiatry is just such a new science, and you're dealing with the human brain, folks. It's extremely complicated. We don't even know what dreams are yet. They can't even answer what the hell that question is. They have they've done some good research. They're getting there, but so I would just say listen to your body. All right, if you're depressed and these things help you, awesome. But if you're depressed and these things suddenly make you want to go on a kill streak, hey, maybe you should stop taking those drugs,
Okay, I'll take that argument. Now, okay, another big deal, obviously, that goes along with the gun grab deal, maybe the false flag, whatever you call it, the Adam Lanza, the orange-haired dude in Colorado.
I find that very suspicious that most of these guys are on some sort of antidepressant or SSRI inhibitors, whatever they are.
Well, I mean, not just them, but there's others like them who have, there's been, and I don't remember which one. I wish I had the story in front of me. There's people they're saying these shooters, so-called shooters, and maybe they were, maybe they weren't, I don't know, because I've not seen it in action, but they literally hold lighters. They've been caught holding lighters under their hand just so they can feel something. They just don't feel anything.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So it's creepy, folks. Now, here's the reason why I'm not ready to just flat out say this is the problem. Is because we have school massacres dating back to before the United States was a country. I mean, way before these drugs were around. The largest school massacre in history took place, I believe, in the 1920s, and it was a guy from the school board packed his car with explosives and just blew the hell out of a school. That was like in the 1920s. You can look it up. Wikipedia has a great portal with all school massacres across the world. They go back to before the country was founded. So to me, we're not addressing what the problem is. When there's just something that clicks in people where they say, you know what, I'm going out in a blaze of glory. And that glory is
massacres are even talked about in the Bible. Who was it that ripped out a donkey's jawbone and slew like a dozen people or 100 people?
Well, Joshua fit the battle of Jericho. That was a pretty brutal campaign that Joshua.
Would that have been considered a massacre?
Oh man, that was a genocide. I mean,
we'll have to look at. You're better at this. Look it up. Look up donkey jawbone.
Well, I do know that at one point in the Bible, God commands Joshua to not only take over this city, but to kill every man, woman, and to take the babies and bash their heads against the rocks, and to even kill their animals. Just genocide the ever-loving shit out of these people. So, yeah, massacres happen, but I feel like we're starting to get into a point in human evolution where some of these questions are going to get answered, but they have to be asked in the right context. Meaning it's up to us as free citizens to say, you know what, let's retake over this argument. Instead of this being a pro-gun argument or an anti-gun argument, it's going to be up to us to say, listen, let's attack the core problem. Let's go after that instead. Let's stop engaging in these pro-gun, because we're not getting anywhere with that.
The core problem being what? The opinions of the masses?
No, the core problem is that people flip their shit and go and kill a bunch of kids. Why?
And then the reaction is everybody else flips their shit.
I don't care about the reaction. I want us to focus on the core problem. If we raise enough hell about, listen, we're interested in what causes this thing. That's the battle that we should be engaging in.
Well, what if nothing causes it? That 1 in a billion people are fucked up beyond belief. What is that, foobarred?
Sure.
They're foobarred. That's just how they're born. How do you stop that? Or can you stop that?
I don't know.
If you can't, then all human natural reaction of just going whining to government, this bad thing happened to me, so government, please go pass a law and make it where it doesn't ever happen again. And what always happens when governments pass laws? It just makes it all fucked up even worse.
Yeah, but again, I want us to reshape this debate, and this is something that we can reach across the aisle to both our liberal friends, both our conservative friends. We can say, listen, this gun debate is not really what we're arguing about. It's like, have you ever been, you've been married, I've been married. When you're having an argument with your wife, and in your back of your head you're going, this is not what we're arguing about. There's something else that we're arguing about here that's not on the surface.
Okay,
let's find the need behind the need.
What is it, Sigmund?
Well, what we're all in favor of, or what we're all against, is folks flipping their shit and going and massacring a school, right? So let's stick to that. This is what we're against. Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, Green Party, let's stand together on this issue. Why is this issue, which is the root cause, not the one that's being discussed? Because they don't want us to solve these problems.
Who's they?
Oh, the ruling elite.
Okay.
Now, again, I don't know that there's this huge conspiracy here. I just think the media goes, listen, if we can get a debate going about the gun issue, our ratings are going to go up, we're going to be able to sell more advertisement, etc.
And sell more guns and ammunition, for damn sure.
Absolutely.
You're listening to Liberty Movement Radio at libertymovementradio.com.
In theory, we are back on the Caleb Leverret Show.
Hey, word to your mother, I do hear it. It went away.
Woo-wee. What a nightmare. So when I tried to sign back in with Butt, it couldn't make the connection.
Yeah, I'm fixing to go all agoristic on Butt and say, fuck Butt in his butt ass.
It's been working for everybody else. And from what I understand, it sounded good for the first 15 minutes.
I know.
So I don't know why it went AWOL like that, but then it wouldn't even let us connect. So it said connect. Could not create network
It's the
socket.
alien chick. And Libertarian N, no, I was not talking about you. I was talking about, metaphorically, the alien that came in and, sucked out our computer stuff. Gremlins, yeah.
That's what we call it in the...
microwave gremlins.
Yeah, in the technology industry, anytime you set up everything the night before, you got a big, awesome show with lasers and confetti cannons and everything works perfectly. And then the very next day... I'm just
pissed our confetti cannons haven't worked on the radio.
Our confetti cannons can work on the radio. It gets a little bit hairy in this little studio, though, and a little bit messy. Plus, Puss gets scared to death whenever we fire off the confetti cannons.
Yeah, where is Puss? I hadn't seen her.
I hadn't seen Puss either.
Whatever. She'll always be me.
Caleb still has not come to terms with the fact that his cat named Puss is a man.
And if you're new to the Caleb Leverret Show, yes, I have a tiny little gay cat
like
named
a midget
Puss.
Cat. It's a midget. It's a tiny cat.
She's tiny, and it's a he. I thought it was a girl, and when she was so tiny, I looked at her junk, and I thought she was a girl, and I took her to the vet, and they said, okay, we'll fix her up and get her spayed. I'll try to do the responsible thing. They called back a couple hours later. Mr. Leverett, your cat is a boy, and we've already taken his balls out. And I felt kind of like a moron.
It's hard to tell with cats.
Well, that's what they told me. He said even the vet, they have to take a double check.
Right, exactly.
Anyway, she, it. It's always been really small, and she's always had this pink collar and pink feeder tray and pink water, and I'll always call her a girl. And her name is Puss, and his name is Puss, and I've just nicknamed him my little gay cat, and I'm proud of my little gay cat. And if you don't like gay cats, go fuck yourself.
Oh, thank goodness we are back on the Caleb Leverret Show. It's been a few weeks since we've been out here.
Yeah, I've been through 2 for me, and because of the technical difficulties last week, and then 3 for you because
at least 3. I feel like it's been 4 weeks for me.
No, it's just been 3.
Has it only been 3? And I tried to call in 1 week because I was for those of you who don't know, I was in Washington D.C. for a couple of weeks, and it was great. It was fantastic. They know the Libertarians are coming. They're coming. And they're prepared for it. They're totally cool with it. I got to sit in a special meeting at the Brookings Institute. And if you folks don't know what the Brookings Institute is, get your hot little hand out and Google that shit right now. It's the probably the top think tank in the world. Brookings Institute.
No. The Caleb Leverret radio show is the top think tank in the world. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah, well, as soon as we get to write memos directly to the president, then...
I've thought about it.
Well, you can, I guess, technically. Up until, like, the 1900, you could just walk up to the White House and knock on the door and go...
I thought they stopped that whenever Lincoln got his just desserts.
Well, that's not nice.
That wasn't very nice.
But, yeah, I don't know. At some point, you could just walk up and go, hey, President, what's up, man? I don't think they said what's up, man, back then.
They'd be looking at the chandeliers, I'm sure. So, yeah, do we have a good connection? I need to hear from the chat room. I know there's a 30-second delay. Chat room people, on your mark set, smoke a cigarette. There's 9 million people in there. I need to know if you hear it, because before we get fucked off on some other crazy alien sucking out our computer virus juices things and mess it up, I've got a parody that I'd like to play for everybody, and I don't know how long we're going to be on.
Yeah, I think we're good to go now, man.
Okay.
I think we're good to go. Later in the show, we're going to be talking about the little mini vacation Caleb and I took last weekend to see the movie Django Unchained. Oh. And it was really, we came out of the movie theater saying, okay, I really liked it, but I'm going to need a couple days to process that. Because it was uncomfortable. It's designed to be uncomfortable, though. It was not uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable to me.
Not to me at all. Not to me at all. I thought it was wonderfully made. I took a lot of shit for posting on Facebook that I think Quentin Tarantino has got a brilliant mind. Everyone said, yeah, him and all those actors were in that commercial saying we need to get rid of guns and blah, 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 and yet they're promoting guns.
Who cares? Not everything is political. That's... sometimes someone makes a good film, and it's a good film. I've had to learn that if I'm going to enjoy anything artistic in my life, I've got to not look at the artist's politics, because nobody, to the best of my knowledge, agrees exactly with me, and I'm not going to say, fuck off, you're a horrible actor or artist if you don't agree exactly with me. Now, I'm going to have my ones that I criticize. I criticize Kid Rock all the time for his bullshit of endorsing motherfucking Romney, but I still like his music. I always will like his music. I like to criticize him, but I'll still jam out to some Kid Rock. Well, sure, and I know to me it's just completely separate. All right, it's just not everything I do in life has to be libertarian. I enjoy movies. I enjoy music. Yeah. Not every beer I drink has to have donated to Gary Johnson's campaign. It's just maybe I'm better able to compartmentalize.
Beer you're drinking.
Exactly. I don't care. I'm allowed to like things. I like status beer, man. I got an open Coors Light right now. Well, it's like sometimes people will criticize me because I like football, but I'm allowed to like football. I like it. Why is that? I love criticizing my football zombies. Y'all are really, really entertaining. Well, I like it. People are allowed to like things. And to me, that's when libertarianism or ANCAP, whatever, starts to become too much like a religion where you're just rejecting. Exactly. You're just rejecting other people's things. And that's not what it's about. It's about everyone is included. Yeah, and I might not agree with you, but hey, do your thing. Yeah, that's right. As long as you're not hurting anybody else. You know what else I like? What's that? I like being single. Yeah, I also enjoy being single. You want to talk about that? I enjoyed my 2 marriages. Well, I'll just leave it at that. I enjoyed them. I really, really did. Had some great times.
Had made a lot of kids with one of them. Had a lot of vacations.
A load of kids.
Had a lot of vacations with the other one. Had a really good time. But I thoroughly like being single, and I'm just not going to stick to that stigma. Well, you've got to be married, Caleb. She's out there somewhere. Well, no, I'm enjoying being single. I really am, and I've learned a lot in my 35 years. And yes, I am getting around to the parody that I wrote, and I've actually wrote this. Oh shit! I was still a statist when I wrote this.
Oh, I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah, Ben's never heard this. I kind of sprung this on him at the very last minute. And are you familiar, Ben, with Beyonce?
Yeah, I actually saw her perform at the inauguration live.
Oh yeah, she was lip syncing.
Yep, exactly. Supposedly lip syncing.
Well, then you're going to like this one because this parody is a spinoff of a Beyonce song.
Pull it up.
All right. Well, this is dedicated, and in particular, I'm going to. Now, I know there's a lot of single dads, and actually, I've got a lot of Facebook friends that are single dads that have been through some shit because of the statist society that we live in, the things we have to put up with being single dads. If you're, and don't get me wrong, I fully understand that there are single moms out there who have put up with some bullshit. They've tried their best to work it out on their own, and the ex-husband's a complete asswipe, and he's constantly going to lawyers. I get it. This was just my perspective at a point in my life, which I'm way over now, but I still appreciate it. I still like the song. I don't regret doing it, and this is called All the Single Daddies, which is a parody spinoff of All the Single Ladies by Beyonce. So brace yourselves. This is to my friend and fellow co-host on LibertyMovementRadio.com, Mr. Trip Pugh, Mr. Trip NWO Fighter. This is for you, brother.
Are you going to get up and shake your ass while you're doing that?
Yeah, this is one of those deals where... Oh, yeah, we're on Skype. It doesn't work.
Oh, well, yeah, you're plugged in. Yeah, it totally works. Yeah, you're on, man. Just play it.
I did.
Are you plugged in?
Yeah, plugged in. What else do I plug in?
Well, why wouldn't that work?
Mm-hmm.
You're plugged into this thing.
Oh, because I'm muted.
Oh, that would explain that.
All right. So much for that dramatic. Mr. Trip Pugh, Mr. Trip NWO.
Oh, you got to hit stop on the Liberty Movement Radio thing.
Hang on. I'm almost there.
Are you going to get up and shake your ass? Do you hit stop on Liberty Movement Radio or just close it or whatever?
All right, here goes. I swear it's going to work this time.
All the single daddies, 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 all the single daddies. Well, put your guard up in the court, just got divorced. You made your own little things, decided to split. Now you're on the trip, here's mother wants everything. Daughter's in your lap, just got slapped by a brother who's been in detention. Give 10 hard years. Can't be mad at if he didn't want him, then he should have put another ring on it. If he didn't want him, then he should have put another ring on it. Yeah, just be glad when you see that the if he didn't like it, then he should have put another ring on it.
Should have put a Nuva ring on it.
If he didn't want him, then he should have put another ring on it. If he didn't want him, then he should have put another ring on it. Yeah, just be glad when you see that the if he didn't like it, then he should have put another ring on it. Girl's got gloss on her lips, stamp on her hips, and on her brother's jeans. They're acting up, another sip because she couldn't care less if you sleep. They don't ask permission, did I mention? You gotta give them plenty of attention. You had your turn, now it's mom's turn. Haven't got a new scare tag. If you didn't want him, then you should have put another ring on it. If you didn't want him, then you should have put another ring on it. Yeah, just be glad when you see that the if you didn't like it, then you should have put another ring on it. If you didn't want him, then you should have put another ring on it. If you didn't want him, then you should have put another ring on it. Yeah, just be glad when you see that the if you didn't like it, then you should have put another ring on it. Don't take the kids to Wally World. She's not that kind of girl. thinks of his wife, she prefers what she deserves. And a dad that takes them to Toys R Us and DVD that says to infinity and beyond. Put that in to your card. Brother, I heard you fart. A single chick heard your daughter say, and you're surprised she isn't gone. All the single daddies, 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 all the single daddies. Now put your gun
Oh, wow. Hey, can I just say that I have I have come across a few Nuva rings in my lifetime, and I have found that within 5 minutes I'm just wearing a cock ring that I didn't plan on wearing, and I don't know if they were implanted improperly, but one of them was glow in the dark. Why would that happen? Why would you have a glow in the dark Nuva ring?
Oh, that's some kinky.
I don't know if it was kinky or I don't. Anyways, I don't. I don't know.
Well, like I said, I wrote that back when I was still a statist. I was going through some hard times, and
that was great.
You know, people bitching about having kids and living in a statist society, and yeah, I mean, sure, it's bad, but it is what it is. And if you want to have children and get married, it just plan on. There's a 50-50 chance you're going to split up with the kid's mama, and you're going to have to put up with the new stepdaddy. Oh, yeah. And
then the second marriage,
some things, and there's going to be a second marriage. Yeah,
the second marriages have an even higher rate of divorce than first marriages. So it just.
Well, I'm 0 for 2 right now.
I'm 0 for 1. I'm 0 for 1, and I think I don't want to do that again. I gave it a good damn shot. I've given my last shot. I'm at least until London is grown. I just can't afford to put their little hearts through that again. Yeah.
I mean, it was terrible. I mean, it was horrible enough going through it in the very beginning. You know, it's their dad and their mom, you know, the nuclear family, it's gone. I mean, it was some, you know, I'm making light of it in the song, but my heart got ripped to shreds.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then you introduce a new stepmom into it, and there's a whole new dynamic there, and
then she fucks off.
Well,
pisses off. That's just. I mean,
I'm not going there on air. I've made that real clear. I'm not. I mean, we're divorced, and I'll just leave it at that.
I just meant generally. I didn't mean your specific situation.
Okay. Yeah.
I just meant that it's not good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. The point. Yeah. You bring in someone else, and you risk, and that person's gone all of a sudden for whatever reason, and it's so devastating. And I feel like kind of like an ass. Just looking at how my kids had to deal with not just losing their mom, but then losing stepmom. And I'm like, holy shit, there's no way in hell I'm going to put them through that again. No way. I refuse. I'm nullifying marriage. I'll never do that shit again. Or at least until they are grown up enough, or they're, you know, somewhat grown up adults, 18, 20 years old, and they can make up their own minds. They've got the cognizant awareness of what of going.
It's still tough though, Caleb. You know, my parents got divorced when I was 21, and I was 21. My sister was 19, and it was kind of surreal at the time when it happened. I was off away at college, 1,000 miles away, and I thought, well, it's not really affecting me. But I tell you what, a couple of years later is when it kind of hit that our lives are completely different now. The things that we had, like, in our brain of where we're going to be in 5 years, all that's different. So it's even tough, for adult kids. Not that you're really an adult at 21. Some people are.
You can buy cigarettes and get drafted into the United States military and become cannon fodder at 18.
Yeah.
You can risk your life buying alcohol, the drug, at age 21.
Sure.
So, I don't know when you become. Maybe I'm not an adult yet. I'm 35.
Who cares? I don't know.
I might not be an adult.
I don't think anyone's an adult.
I'm old enough to go to jail. I think that's all it really. How old you can be like, what, 16?
I think 17? You can go to jail at any time, but go to prison. I don't know what the law is in Texas.
I bet you it's at least 8.
You can
18.
16. I'm sure. 16? Yeah, you can get tried as an adult. I've heard that before. Getting tried as an adult. So it's different. I heard a stand-up comedian say, what does 15 mean really? If you're 15 years old, you can get tried as an adult. But if some 19-year-old kid has sex with you, he can go to jail.
Yeah.
So what is 15 an adult? Which one is it?
You can't have sex with a 15-year-old as an adult. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. Is somebody calling in?
No, that's just a Skype noise. Oh. You know how Skype does. It makes little burps at us every once in a while.
The call-in show.
No, I'm not quite ready to give out the call-in show because we still have a massive amount of stuff to get to today. I mean, we haven't even talked about the Brookings Institute report.
Okay, get into the Brookings Institute. Before he gets into that, I will say this. It's a good thing that the Schmohawk was there doing this because I don't think I could have bit my tongue. He's got a talent for biting his tongue and just getting through this stuff. I think too much of it as an activist, so...
Well, I thought it was fascinating. I mean,
I could watch it, but he told me about it when he got here, and I kept having these, typical questions that an activist would have. He's like, "No, you're not." And I gave up. So yeah, it is interesting, and to know that he found out this stuff, technically, correct me if I'm wrong, before the king himself found out, correct?
Yeah. I sat through the meeting where they were kind of presenting. It was the meeting they were presenting it to the public. Now, not necessarily the general public. Maybe it was on TV. There were cameras everywhere. But, yeah, it's the foreign policy report that Brookings Institute wrote to President Obama. And this was before the inauguration. He certainly hadn't seen it. I bet you he's seen it by now. Probably in the middle or late last week, he read this report. The first half of the report is things that he can accomplish as far as foreign policy in his next 4 years. Things he can focus on. He can accomplish some things. By the way, there's some cool stuff in there. Looks like we're going to open up Cuba. That was one of the suggestions. It's time to end the embargo on Cuba. Seems a little bit ridiculous now. So I bet we see that in the next 4 years.
So we can smoke Cubans now?
Can smoke Cubans, absolutely. Travel to Cuba, go visit Havana.
We going to give credit to Barack Obama if we are able to smoke Cubans all of a sudden?
I guess you would kind of have to. If he's the president who ends the embargo, I guess you would kind of have to.
So does the president himself as a power have that power to end an embargo?
I think so, because that's,
fall into the Congress.
No, I think it's the president because that's an executive
power. Who am I kidding? Executive orders. That's right.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything in the Constitution about the Congress has the right to embargo another nation. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's in there. At any rate, we're going to see Cuba opened up, so that's kind of exciting, right? We like that. There was some stuff in there about how in the next 5 years or less, maybe in this next term, certainly in the next 10 years, we will not only become energy independent, but we will become the chief exporter of energy in the world. It's a bit exciting, is it not?
I'd better bite my tongue right now.
I think that's exciting. That's a good thing.
Just as somebody who recently committed career suicide by objecting to the morality of drilling in people's fucking backyards by drilling company, then
So that's the other side
There is a positive side to it. The technology exists. They don't have to drill in people's backyards. They can easily drill miles away and do the horizontal drilling. So, yeah, that is exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Some new business opportunities. By the way, folks, if you're an entrepreneur like Caleb and I are, I'm going to clue you in on the next big thing, the next big business to own.
Are you selling something? Because I'm
not
going
yet.
To boot your ass off.
Not fucking yet. But if I could find somebody who knows how to operate this kind of technology, it's batteries, it's storage, storing energy. And I don't mean
like double A's. You're talking like massive storage.
Right. Imagine a double A that's as big as your bed.
Okay.
That can store a massive amount of energy and is very efficient.
Okay, those exist. As big as my bed, that's pretty small, actually.
They're talking about...
You're talking about electric energy, not...
Just energy in general.
Okay, gasoline is energy.
Yes, but if you turn that into a form that is easily shippable to the East Coast, because right now that's our main problem, is we're producing a whole lot of oil, but we don't have really high-quality ways of shipping energy across everywhere.
Hell we don't.
No, we don't. We burn more energy shipping energy than the energy that gets there.
Have you seen the power lines?
Yes, and have you seen all the flares?
Yeah.
We're flaring off energy because we can't get it there.
And have you seen the pipelines that are everywhere?
They're talking about something better than pipelines. And don't we want something better than pipelines?
Yeah.
Of course we do. This is a good thing.
Okay, well, you're talking about batteries and electric power harnessing.
All
battery.
energy.
How are you going to transfer it without power lines?
Train, maybe. I don't know.
We've got trains.
Yes, we do, but we can't ship energy as efficiently as we could possibly. That's what they're saying the next big business is going to be. If you can come up with a better battery, all right, you're going to be the world's next billionaire. This is the next form. This is the next big thing. It's a good thing.
As a syndicalist, do you want to be a billionaire, Ben?
Shit, yes, I do.
Oh.
Of course I do.
Okay.
Why wouldn't I?
I'm just getting you on record. You're the syndicalist.
We don't live in a syndicalist society right now.
I know. I'm just fucking with you.
At any rate, so, hey, if you're into starting a new business, there's going to be some opportunities there.
I'm going into male prostitution myself because this shit you're talking about is way too Brookings Institute complicated for me.
I just think it's tremendous opportunities. I mean, nobody's saying we're forcing you to make batteries. What they are saying is if this country can innovate a way to do that, boom. Whoever does that, bam, awesome. You know, it's like when someone took over the internet or invented the internet. It's that. You know,
that's funny you say that. Years ago, when I was a doodler and a young skull full of mush to rip off Rush Limbaugh and one of his things he used to say, I was probably in my early 20s, and I sketched out a schematic of a way to harness energy from tides and waves in the ocean. And essentially all it is just a floating arm that's got hydraulic masts and cylinders that it raises up when the tide comes up and it goes down, and there's hydraulic, and they've got, there's a way to harness the pressure inside these nitrogen-filled containers, which turn a generator, blah, blah, blah. I just saw today that they didn't use the up and down float method. They used a turbine method it was some government entity, and I forget which one it is, that they're submerging beneath the ocean to catch current flows to spin a prop in order to generate electricity. And I thought, you know what? I thought of that 15 years ago. I've still got the schematic. It's actually in my safe. I thought it was important at the time, so I saved it. But
right. Well, yeah, and I've had some invention ideas and whatnot. So listen, there's nothing in the non-aggression principle that says you can't invent some cool thing that makes you a lot of money. That's commerce, folks. That's a good thing. You can use it to better your own society. Boom, period. So there's that. There's several other things in the big bets that he can make. Those would be the ones that I paid most attention to that seemed kind of good. Cutting the military. The military. They're definitely, the military is going to get cut.
Our base is going to go down. Number of bases.
No, I doubt it. Doesn't sound like it. But troop numbers, ship numbers, that sort of thing.
They're not going to get cut. They're going to get trimmed.
Trimmed, yeah, exactly.
Whittled.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
They probably don't use that word whittled.
It's certainly not on the level that what we talk about in the Liberty Movement, not even close to that. But, by the way, just 2 years ago, it was unfathomable that you would even consider in Washington, D.C., trimming some military budget. As soon as you even suggested that, you're suddenly getting booed. Yeah. You're getting booed. So just the
Republican Party looks at trimming as in pruning. Like if we prune it, it comes back tenfold.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the idea is that, just like what we talk about, let's stop. Oh, by the way, nobody is happy about the droning. Oh, here's another big thing.
Shit.
Nobody's happy about the droning.
The Democrat liberals?
Especially the Democrat liberals.
See, because I've got Democrat liberals on my Facebook page, and I post, direct correlations between, Nobel Peace Prize winner King Obama and drone strikes in Afghanistan killing 168 kids. And
right.
I don't ever hear any objection to them. They're still ever randomly. I think they actually do curve their posting of supporting Barack Obama because they know I'm they're going to have the wrath of this libertarian anarchist Caleb Leverret going after them.
Sure.
But they never take me head on.
Well, you're talking to the people, though, and the people I was dealing with were the policymakers.
But the policymakers, correct me if I'm wrong, they're not going to make policy. They're going to basically lick their finger and say, which way are the people going for? I mean, they're going to take the opinions of the people, are they not?
Not necessarily. I mean, certainly the politicians are, and they're going to give those speeches that tend to represent populist views. But the policymakers aren't elected. They don't give a shit. They're looking at raw data. So the policymakers and the Brookings Institute, being a think tank, that's who they employ, analysts mainly, and they are talking about this is how you handle the droning problem. And not just droning, by the way, but this fifth battlefield that we now deal with, cyberspace.
Fifth?
They call it the fifth battlefield now.
Ah, that's their way of not calling anonymous, right?
Well, they didn't talk about anonymous at all.
Well, of course they wouldn't.
Well, why would they? We're talking about Washington, D.C. policy. Why would they talk about anonymous?
You just said the fifth battlefield being what?
Yes, but they're not talking about dealing with anonymous. They're talking about shutting down nuclear reactors in Iran just through computers.
That would be anonymous.
Well, okay, if you think anonymous is the only group in the world that does that.
No, I didn't say that.
They're talking about nation states doing this. The United States does this. China does this. In fact, we are not even the leader in this type of battle, is what they were saying.
Okay.
So what they are saying is because this is a new battlefield that has no Geneva Convention, there's no real rules right now. So any South Korea, any North Korea... I'm just telling you what they're saying, okay. Caleb. Why are you arguing with me?
I'm not. I'm keeping you in check.
You're not keeping me in check because I'm not giving opinion. I'm trying to report what they said.
Okay, report what they said. I want to go burn one.
Okay. So because this fifth battlefield exists, all right, and there are basically no rules. There are no rules right now. So North Korea could set off something major in this fifth battlefield, and they would just say, well, you know, we're just following the United States lead. They're doing this kind of thing too. So what Brookings is suggesting to Obama is let's quit denying that the United States is involving themselves in this, and let's set up some rules. Let's set up, all right, we will engage in this type of cyber warfare, and we won't engage in this type of cyber warfare. By the way, drones are considered part of this fifth battlefield. All right? Nobody's happy about the droning. Nobody is on both sides. So what they're saying is let's at least come out and say that, yes, we are engaging in this behavior, and let's get, you know, some countries together and come up with some rules of engagement. Does this mean that people are going to follow those rules? Not necessarily. I mean, we know how that goes. But it's a step in the correct direction. All right? It's a step in the correct direction. So, those are the things that Obama can, according to the Brookings Institute, achieve in the next 4 years. He can do these things. The second half of the memo is called black swans. These are situations that could come about that could just derail everything. All right, we're talking about if the current king of Saudi Arabia dies and the crown prince takes over, and the crown prince, he has dementia. He's crazy. So what the hell's that going to cause? You know, what's that going to cause? So there's a lot of these black swans in there. I wish I had the book in front of me last week. I don't have it in front of me this week. But anyways, if any of these things pop, how about revolution in Iran? How do we handle that? Well, Brookings Institute says you handle it in these specific ways. So I just thought it was really fascinating that not only are they looking ahead, but they are talking about some of the things that we talk about in the Liberty Movement. Beyond that, like I said, probably half of the lecturers that I heard mentioned libertarianism as this is going to be, here it comes. Here it comes. So I think we're starting to see some of that.
You are such a politician. I don't know how you stand it.
What is wrong with these things? These are the things that we want.
That's some ass.
I mean, are you not happy with progress? I don't understand why you're upset about these things. These are things we talk about every single day. That we want them to do.
I know some people have to, their forte is to work within the system. I get it. I'm just not the type to...
I'm not trying to work within the system. I'm telling you that the system is starting to come around.
DC, talking to the Brookings Institute. Who's submitting recommendations to the president? I mean, what do you mean you're not working within the system?
Well, they didn't take my suggestions. I'm not working within the system. The system exists whether or not you believe in it.
I know.
And I'm telling you that the system
I get it.
is making some steps in our direction. All right? And I think that's a positive thing. I don't understand what's wrong with that.
I know. I go too far. I go too far sometimes. I know. I mean, Ron Paul did his deal. He was in Congress for 20-something years and ran for president 2 or 3 times and, trying to work in the system. But, like it's been said many times, Ron Paul was the compromise.
He was. But
He was the compromise.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, it's, at least from what I heard in the 2 weeks that I was there,
what is this?
Might be working a little bit.
What is this a result of? Is it because of grassroots people? Because the libertarians are making such a stink, but we're changing minds, or they just come upon this on? You know what? I think it's a good idea that we give the people back their freedoms, Mr. President. I just don't think so. I think it has to do with.
I do too, and that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Everyone, at least half the speakers who spoke, I didn't ask them any questions. By the way, they just offered this. Said, hey, libertarianism is a thing. We're going to have to deal with it. And so, yeah, I think it's because we're making headway. We're making headway. We're not going to get ourselves into a libertarian utopia all at once. In fact, that would probably be a little bit disastrous, to be honest with you, if we just suddenly went, all right, we're total anarchy today. That could be pretty awful for a couple of years. And then things might situate and we'd probably be okay. But that's just not the way things are going to work.
Maybe you're right, and probably would be, but
that's just not the way things are going to work.
I think it'd be less painful than the route we're going now.
But if the route we're going now is starting, and I'm not saying it is correcting itself, by the way, but if it does start to correct itself, I've got to be okay with that. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, that's progress, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Less death, less stealing, less murdering.
Right.
Less controlling.
And by the way, none of these suggestions are suggestions that the president has to take. He doesn't. He could throw his middle finger up. But when it comes from...
As he probably will.
When it comes from an institute like Brookings, he's going to listen. He's going to listen to that. They're right more than they're wrong. I'm not saying they're right more than they're wrong as far as morally, but they are correct more than they are incorrect as far as...
So should we capitalize on this? I like this Cuba thing. Opening up trade with Cuba. Mm-hmm. Should we try to capitalize on that?
Oh, well, why wouldn't we?
I think it'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, I think, sure. It's only 90 miles away from, from Miami. So it's probably less than that away from the Florida Keys. At one point...
Is that ruler dude dead yet? Or is his brother...
Fidel he's not dead, but he's not in charge anymore. Raul Castro, the brother, is in charge right now.
When's he going to die?
He's getting older as well.
I shouldn't say that.
He's getting older as well, but he seems to be more open.
No, he was like ruling with an iron fist back in the 60s, wasn't he?
Fidel was...
He just 50 years ago?
Yeah, he's been around for a long time. And
came in power when he's in his 20s or some shit?
Yeah, he was, late 20s, maybe his 30s. But he's been in power for a very, very long time. And the United States tried to assassinate him 1,000 times. I mean, he says he's survived something like 12,000 assassination attempts.
That actually says, regardless of your opinion of Fidel Castro,
he's a badass.
Yeah, he is a badass. You can survive that. You are a gangster.
Yeah,
Lux.
Hell yes. So, yeah, man, I
almost want to give him the douchebag of the day.
Well, nah, because what is he? He's not doing anything right now.
Well, but how many people? Never mind.
So opening up Cuba, I think we're cool with that, right? We don't like borders to begin with, so we're totally cool with that. That sounds great. Let's engage in commerce with one another. You create peace through commerce.
That's right.
So, yeah, I'm great with that.
Yeah, if they'd open it up, I'd love to take a little vacay.
Absolutely.
Smoke some Cubans.
You know what's crazy about that is Europeans.
I bet you they've got some good-looking Cuban ones.
Hell yes, they do. They've got some awesome, like, Cuban jazz bars, great music. You know, other countries, Australians, British people other than people from the United States travel to Cuba all the time. It's an awesome vacation spot. They go down there, they go to Cuban recording studios, they record albums down there. It's just us that's not allowed to go there because of this silly embargo, and which has far outlived its purpose, whatever its purpose was. Didn't work. We've outlived it. Let's go party in Havana.
Kind of like the Scroll, huh?
The Scroll?
The Scroll. It had a great time in history.
Yep.
It's just outlived its usefulness.
Yep. I think so, too. Well, it's either ignored or it's led us to this. So
you sound like Lysander Spooner.
You know, I just read a whole lot of Lysander Spooner the other day. What a fascinating guy.
He is a fascinating guy.
I mean, talk about somebody ahead of their time.
Yeah, and he was like an abolitionist.
He was
back in the 1870s
during the Civil War era.
Civil War.
Yeah, he was an abolitionist, but he took on opinions that were unpopular on both sides. For instance, he was an abolitionist, but he was for this. He was for the South being able to secede if they wanted to.
Oh, so he was a racist, huh?
No, he wasn't a racist at all.
I'm kidding.
There's a great quote from Frederick Douglass who said something of the fact that I was against the South seceding until I read Lysander Spooner, and then now, I get it now. It's all about morality.
Frederick Douglass the guy that says, I didn't know I was a slave until I realized I wasn't allowed to do the things I wanted to do?
Yep, I think that's Frederick Douglass. So, yeah, if you don't know Lysander Spooner, or even if you do know the name, just Google him. Just go onto his Wikipedia page and then go to his writings, because I just got lost in Spoonerville the other night.
There's some really, really good YouTube videos of the readings of Spooner's.
Oh.
If you're not into like reading, but you like the knowledge,
right?
There are people on there that just break out his essays and break out his books and his writings, and they will just read it to you, and you just listen to it.
He wrote an essay called "No Treason." All right, which it's a series of essays that deals with the secession. It also deals with how immoral slavery is, and it deals with how ineffective and ridiculous the Constitution is. He tears apart the concept of the social contract, rips it to shreds, from using legalese. I mean, he was a kind of a self-made lawyer. He never had very much success as a lawyer, but so he does it in kind of law speak brilliantly, rips apart the social contract. It's the essays are called "No Treason" by Lysander Spooner. Get after it. All right, I'm done with Spooner. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
Want to talk about Django?
Yeah, what the hell? Django was a brilliant movie.
Go see Django Unchained. And go see it in the theater, because I think you need to see the big scope of the way it was filmed.
Now, the modern technology now, people have in-home theaters. They've got these 72-inch screens and surround sound. It's the same. You can get up and pee when you want and do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, it's not the same, though, to me. I mean, when you see the way he shoots it like an old spaghetti western, huge landscapes. I mean, you really feel like you're...
Yeah, there's some of the intro music sound like something from... what's the guy's name? The original guy... Mel Brooks.
Oh yeah,
it sounded like it looked like a Mel Brooks intro. And
it was kind of shot in that style.
It was actually kind of shot in Mel Brooks style. I mean, Mel Brooks was a pioneer. He had a bunch of black people and white people talking about slavery and the common lingo used in the day. The word nigger or nigga was used at least 500 times.
Yeah, and if those words make you uncomfortable, you're not going to want to listen to this segment, because we're going to be saying them a lot, because it's said at least 4 times a minute in that movie, I think.
Well, and I think that is part of the brilliant part of it is, it was not, I mean, of course it's not based on a particular true story, but I have no doubt on my mind, whenever at the beginning, when they're taking off the chains off of Django, and you see the infected sores around his leg, such primitive shackles around their ankles, and just the way that people were treated, the mindset. And it's not, and another part about that I liked about Django, it's not one-sided. It's not all white people are racist and all black people are slaves.
In fact,
it's quite the opposite.
Oh, man, the absolute, probably most evil, maybe the most evil character of all time is portrayed in this movie by Samuel L. Jackson.
And I give props to Samuel L. Jackson for playing. Yes, absolutely.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it. I mean, it was incredible to see the dichotomy that he played the house nigga. That's who he was.
Right.
And
he would throw anybody under the bus.
Oh, and torture him. I mean, he'd
torture the shit out of him.
He was cruel. He was a cruel dictator. But when he was talking to his master, he was yes, sir. Oh, dude,
he would argue with him.
He would argue.
Who was played by
Leonardo DiCaprio, who was also fantastic. You said you weren't uncomfortable. There were several moments in that movie where I just was very uncomfortable.
Now, were you uncomfortable because of
the cruelty? Is really what it got me a couple of times.
The particular racism, or was it the cruelty?
The cruelty itself. I mean, sure, but the cruelty sprang from the racism. But no, it was the cruelty. The cruelty of having two Mandingo fighting, where they're putting two big, huge black slaves together to fight to the death. Just in front of two people.
I admit that was hard to watch. I don't know if I'd call it uncomfortable. It's just hard to watch.
It was.
They were merely fighting to the death because it was either fight to the death or be killed.
Yeah.
And it was terrible to watch. But the beauty, like I said in the beginning, of Quentin Tarantino himself making the movie as it is, just portraying, hey, to hell with your feelings and to hell with if you don't like to hear the word nigger or nigga or see blood or hear the racism both ways.
It's meant to shock you.
It's meant to shock you.
That's the point.
And I would say almost to the point of bringing us together and for all races, all different nationalities, religions, to say, you know what? Human ownership is fucking bullshit.
Exactly.
Whether it's physical ownership, like Ben's mentioned many times, chattel slavery, or the wage slaves, the tax cows that we are now, it is pure bullshit.
It absolutely is. And the cruelty of your cage. The cruelty of your cage is the most. I mean, you call it Stockholm Syndrome. That's exactly what it is.
Political Stockholm Syndrome.
And there was a lot of black slaves in this movie who totally had Stockholm Syndrome. They looked down on the other black people. They looked down on the other slaves. They tortured the other slaves.
And they
did
rejoiced.
the dirty work.
Yeah.
It was, they rejoiced. I mean, it was, uncomfortable doesn't quite cover how I felt. It made me feel sick at a few points.
Yeah, it was sick, especially when the dogs were released on that guy.
Some dogs were ripping the guy apart.
And that being said, whenever the German guy, the doctor, I forget his name.
He had a cool name, too.
Yeah, the beauty, again, of the movie is throughout the movie, he has these nightmares, these flashbacks of seeing the carnage, because he tried to buy this man's life just to spare it. But I won't give away the plot.
And then Django, in order to appear like the ultimate badass former slave,
who had no problem owning black slaves, and say, "Nigga, get to work."
Yeah, he convinced the white dude to allow the dogs to rip the other slave apart.
Yeah, and showed no remorse. I think he had remorse.
Oh, he did, but he was trying to not show it.
He was absolutely in love. And you really can't blame a guy for that.
He had to play the character.
He was saving his wife's life by doing that. I mean... Stefan Molyneux's full of shit. He said that the split train rails of people being on the rails and pull this lever, you go left and kill
the moral dilemmas.
3 men, or go right and kill 14 children, which one do you do? They do exist. I saw Django.
Go see
That was
the
a
movie.
moral dilemma.
It was. And
It was absolutely a moral dilemma.
It was. He had to trade some other dude's life for his wife's life in his brain. I mean, he hadn't gotten... Go see the movie. Go see the movie.
Yeah, regardless of... Now, this is just my personal recommendation. Like I said, I posted it, and a lot of my Facebook friends said they would have a moral objection of not supporting blah, 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 the actors and producers who made the movie and also made that ridiculous thing of gun bans and, what is it, Take a Stance Now or whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah, just actors are actors, okay? Your neighbors are your neighbors. More than likely, you disagree with your spouse, your brother, your parents, and your siblings sometime, too. Just go see the movie. Mm-hmm. It was definitely worth watching. Mm-hmm. And go in it with, I would say, with an open mind. I would say this. It's not exactly a kid movie.
No, don't take your kids to see that movie.
Maybe
you're going to have enough trouble for the next couple of days coming to terms with what you just watched. You don't want to have to explain that to some children.
Well, I mean, not little children. I mean, I might take my 13, almost 14-year-old to see it.
Okay.
I might. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it didn't have a lot of... The only thing I really don't take my kids to see is, like, hardcore sex stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They just... I mean, goddamn, they're going to learn that anyways. They're going to be doing it. And I talk to my children about sex all the time. Well, I won't go into it now, but yeah, I talk to them, but I just don't, that's it. I don't like, I'm trying to think of a sex, like American Pie. I wouldn't take my kids to see that.
Really? That's a good teenager movie, though.
He's 13.
Well, I mean, you know your kids better now. I was kind of raised
I'm just thinking outside
differently
out
because
loud right now.
Sex was taught to me as, it's a beautiful thing. This is what people do.
Well,
It was violence that was taught to me as, this is wrong. Sex was not dirty to me.
Well, I am about 99.9% sure my kids are going to have sex in their life, and so I'm really not worried about it. They can figure that out on their own. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not going to give them a blueprint, show them how to do it. This is where it goes then. I'm talking about as far as life lessons. Chattel slavery does no longer exist in this country, per se, but yet it did at one time. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason there's really, really hard feelings in certain cultures with, whites or blacks or Hispanics or, name your race, the crackers, the niggers, the gooks, the spics, whatever
dividing line,
derogatory word that comes up. This one dealt with white owners during the middle 1800s.
2 years before the Civil War. So it was right towards the end of slavery.
That's what this particular one it dealt with. And yeah, of course it's not a true story, and there's a lot of, Hollywood acted to it, but I have a feeling they probably didn't go far enough as far as showing the brutality of dogs ripping a man's arms off and the shackles digging into the slaves' ankles and the whips on their back,
punishing
them to the trees, and the women screaming, and it just made me want to cry.
Yeah,
but I was glad to see it, and I'm glad the movie was made, because whether this story is true or not, that was a real fucking thing, and it happened all the time. And there was a mental state of certain white people. They just happen to be white in this particular time. Yes, there have been black slave owners, believe it or not.
Yeah. There still are to this day.
Okay, and I'm sure there are, but slave owners in general, regardless of what fucking color you are, the mentality that you have, how brutal you have to be to declare that you own another human being, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's
and I'm glad he made the
horrible.
movie.
I'm glad he made the movie, too. Before I saw the movie, I listened to an interview that Tarantino was giving on NPR. And the lady was really challenging him, saying, do you think you were the right person to make this movie? And Tarantino said, is there a right person to make this movie? I don't know if that person exists. But the story is a story, and it's being told. It was magnificent. I always like a film who can give me several different emotions, right? Yeah. It's the films that give me one emotion the entire movie, and those movies tend to be action movies, give me one emotion, and then your romantic chick flick comedies They just appeal to one emotion the entire time. Filmmakers, true filmmakers, know how to take you on a little bit of a roller coaster through the film. I mean, how funny was the little bouncing tooth at the beginning of the movie?
Yeah.
You know?
I want one of those.
How funny was it when the KKK decided
the sheets didn't fit?
Yeah, they couldn't see out of their hoods because the one dude's wife had cut the holes wrong.
My wife worked really hard cutting out these hoods.
Yeah.
Damn it. I'm going home now.
Right. So
do we wear hoods or not? I mean, that was Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
I guarantee you Quentin Tarantino looked up. He probably consulted with Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks is alive still, right?
Yeah.
I didn't read the credits, but surely he had to.
Well, Tarantino is a master of taking vignettes from other people's, pieces. He's a master at taking other ways that people have made film and putting them into his films.
So he's kind of like the Kid Rock of Hollywood.
They call him a filmmaking DJ in that he doesn't really come up with his own creative things, although he absolutely does. His dialogue is better than anyone else's. But the actual shots...
He did Pulp Fiction, right?
Yes, he did. He did Pulp Fiction.
What's that little creepy guy's name? The little...
Schmiegel.
Schmiegel.
What do they call him, though, before he was Schmiegel?
The kids call him Schmiegel or Smeagol or
yeah. Well, Smeagol was his good side. Oh, precious. What's Gollum?
Precious.
Gollum.
Precious.
Yeah, they kept talking about precious. Even London was saying,
"Oh, my precious, my precious."
Right. Yeah. What a cool universe that J.R.R. Tolkien created with that stuff.
J.R.R. Tolkien.
J.R.R. Tolkien. Yeah, he wasn't even really a novelist. He was a linguist. So all of those languages that you heard in between the trolls, the orcs, all those languages are real language. He invented them, but you can actually learn how to speak those languages. He was a teacher at Oxford. He was a teacher of Anglo-Saxon, the language. And really, he created the languages before he created the stories. The stories were really just a backdrop to serve to...
and coincidentally made him a multimillionaire, I'm sure.
Probably so, yeah.
Yeah, the kids liked it. I admit, I did like it. It's not really quite my thing, the Hobbit thing, the fairy tale thing. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of a shame to see you have to spend that kind of money with that kind of computer graphics in order to keep an audience. I mean, because the villains keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And, I mean, you had these trolls, like, kidnapping horses and carrying them around like they're nothing. And then they had these other monsters that made the trolls look like midgets. And I'm like, good grief, can people not just be entertained by a nice story? But
well, sure they can, but that's part of the fun of this story, too.
Yeah, it was a good show. I admit, I liked it. So, another thing that I did this weekend, not to change the subject, but I'm kind of bored of talking about hobbits and Django and what else we talked about today? Single daddies and all that good stuff. I ice skated this weekend for the first time in almost 20 years.
Wow.
And I'm kind of sore.
Oh, yeah.
And what's even weirder, it's not really my legs that are sore. It's my arms. And I only fell twice. Maybe 3 times. Then my butt got really wet. But I think it's from, like, balancing. My triceps are, like, beyond sore. Because the only thing I can credit or blame it on is from holding my balance. Or maybe, London fell a few times. Bless her heart. We had to leave early one of the times because she fell down, and this young kid, bless his heart, he just scooped her up, and he was like some 17-year-old kid. He just scooped her up and skated across like it's nothing and brought her to him. It's like, dude, honestly, thank you for that, because I couldn't have done it that quickly. But anyway, yeah, I skated this weekend.
Well, every time I go snow skiing, something like that, I discover muscles that I didn't know that I had.
Yeah,
because you don't normally use these. Is my ass like sticking? Is that even attached to me? That muscle? What is that? It's painful.
Exactly.
So
that's what I did, and they wanted to go. My second oldest, he had a roller rink deal on one side of town, and London wanted to go ice skating. So okay, you're my daughter, and I'm kind of a sucker for you, so that's what we did.
Where's our phone number? Let's have some call-ins. What do you think?
Yeah.
Because I know that we're on Skype now. I need to re-dig up our phone number here for Skype.
I got it.
605
787-1254.
Give us a call at the Caleb Leverret Show on Liberty Movement Radio. It's 605-787-1254. We want to hear from you guys today out there in Schmohawkville.
Yeah. Just we're succumbing to the broadcasting using this tool, and so far it
worked great. It was working great for 15 minutes, and it just suddenly took a dump all over the place.
Yeah, and so therefore but I'm sorry, you just don't pass. This is activism, man.
It might be. It's probably something that we're doing or not doing.
Well, maybe so, but
again,
if that's the case, then why make this shit so fucking complicated?
Well, it's not the complicated. I mean, you're going to get that level of complication with anything. I would venture a guess that it has to do with internet connectivity out here in the middle of BFE. That's what I'm guessing.
We are the center of the drilling technology universe,
but not the
There are
internet
trillions
technology.
of dollars in this area and exchange in this area. I think the connectivity is fine.
It's not fine, though. I mean, if you go... I tell you what, I did have a lot more trouble in Washington, D.C. getting on the internet than I do out here, to be honest with you, so that could very well... You might have a point there. I mean, almost anywhere I go here, I'm on Wi-Fi.
I was okay in Austin, but I've been to San Antonio several times. I mean, when I got my ball sewn back together about like a year ago, we had the hardest time, no pun intended, getting connection there. It just sucked anywhere you went in San Antonio. But for some reason, I've always had reasonably good connectivity here in, what do we call it, Hordessa?
The middle of the desert. We are 6 hours from any city of note. Can you even imagine that? If you're an East Coaster, can you even imagine how, if you were to drive from your house 6 hours, you would pass several cities, would you not?
Probably several states.
Probably
from the Northeast.
Absolutely. Not us, buddy.
Yeah, when I drove to New York, it took me 8 hours just to get out of Texas.
Uh-huh.
And then another 8 hours, I crossed 4 states. And another 8 hours, I crossed 10 states.
Right.
Because they're so tiny. Which is beautiful.
That's why Texas is better, you fuckers.
I know,
I'm just teasing.
I know.
I'm just teasing.
Speaking of Texas being better, there is a concerted effort called Lone Star Libertopia, which is merely the efforts of about several thousand people. I'd say at least a couple, 3,000 people in the hill country of Austin, Texas, putting out the word, if you were disgusted in where you live, in the statist ass shit place that you live, and you need a climate that's similar to yours, come to Austin, Texas, and we're calling it Lone Star Libertopia. And as of about March 1st, I will be the absolute newest resident because of Lone Star Libertopia. I will be moving there. So if you're listening, I'm not sure where you're listening, if you're listening live or you're listening to a rebroadcast and you're in the Southeast, or even Southwest, and looking for a bunch of like-minded, libertarian-minded people, Lone Star Libertopia, look it up on Facebook. Might want to consider it. If you're a mountain person, if you like cold, frigid things and you like mountaintops and having a hard time catching your breath because you're up so high, if that's your kind of thing, there's also a similar thing. It's the Free State Project up in New Hampshire. Bunch of liberty-minded people up there, and the purpose is to gathering these like-minded people together. And the best way I can explain it is if there's something wrong with the world and you see it and you decide to voice your opinion and your opinion goes against pretty much everybody in your area, kind of like the way it does me around here in this area, bush country, it's me, Ben, Ken Holmes, a couple others. Mark, our good buddy Mark. There's a few of us. But for the most part, if I ever get, thrown in the pokey, which I'm likely to do someday in my life, my jury people are going to be a bunch of sheep, a bunch of statists. He's too weird. I'm screwed. But possibly if I live in Austin, just trying to educate people and doing, things that libertarians do. And if I get, hopefully, my hopes are that there should be several thousand, if not several tens of thousands of like-minded individuals in that area. And all it takes is one juror. One. Just one to say, you say, Mr. Judge, that we have to find him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, I've got at least a reasonable doubt. That's all it takes. That's all it takes for a victimless crime law to get...
Well, and forget that. Even if you think he's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, but you don't agree with the law, jury nullification.
Exactly.
I haven't told you this, but I heard the term jury nullification on an episode of Law & Order that I was watching today. I don't normally watch Law & Order.
Huh.
It just happened to be kind of on as I was waking up from a nap.
NBC affiliate?
Maybe. I don't know.
One of the big two.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, the jury used jury nullification in this episode.
Well, how we deal?
I know.
Good for them.
Yeah, it kind of wasn't in the exact same context that we would use it in, but it was a prison guard kind of hired another prisoner to kill another prisoner, and they decided, and the prison guard was on trial, and the jury found him not guilty, basically, because they thought that other prisoner deserved to die. So it was kind of shitty how they used it, but they used jury nullification.
Well, cool.
It happened. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, which only goes to prove, I'd have to see the episode, that, typically everybody that says something like jury nullification, there's an implication of racism there. So,
in jury nullification?
Yeah, well, simply because the South decided back in the mid-1800s to nullify. And
that's just straight up nullification, though. That's 10th Amendment nullification.
Well,
that really has that bad.
The other N-word.
Right.
I mean, that's what the typical radio mainstream media talk show host, the conservative ones, if you ever bring that up, then you are a racist because you're talking about nullification.
Yeah,
like the Mark Levins, those type of douchebags.
And it does have a bad connotation because that in the past, that's when they were trying to use it. When I was out of town a couple weeks ago, there was another group that was there in a little bit of different program than I was in. They were studying the Supreme Court. And I would go down to breakfast, and I'd hear their professor talking to him, and I always tried to ask him questions. And one day he said something about federal law always outweighing state law. Yeah. And I turned around and I said, well, what about the 10th Amendment? And he said, well, he said, yeah. But
you asked him that?
Hell yeah.
Good for you.
And he said, well, the 10th Amendment is basically dormant. People just don't use it. I mean, that's really what it comes down. That's what he said. It's just basically dormant, and it hasn't been used in a while, and so that's basically it.
So whenever a statist Republican says an old law is a dormant law, but when they say an old tax is a good tax, that's okay, right?
Well, of course they're going to use whatever fits their argument. But you have to also understand that with the 10th Amendment, there are some clauses in the Constitution, such as the interstate commerce clause.
That has nothing to do with the 10th Amendment.
It does in certain circumstances, is what I'm saying. So I'm not defending the interstate commerce clause, but what I am saying is the lawyers will always, they're going to find something that fits their argument. They're going to find something that fits their argument, and that's just
statism.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely, the idea that might makes right, which to me it doesn't. It doesn't. I just don't believe that it does. Morality makes right. Of course, morality is kind of a loose term. I guess we all have a different morality. So then you have to go to the non-aggression principle. If I disagree with you, that's fine, as long as I'm not initiating force against you. It's really as simple as that. It's really as simple as that. I mean, that's it.
Sorry, I have a one-track mind, and somebody sent me something that was some statist-ass shit, and I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Nope, I completely understand.
I want to hear more about your excursions. I have a feeling you were there for 2 weeks, and there's a lot damn more that did happen that you would like to talk about, express. What else of significance besides the hot Liberty women you hung out with in Washington, D.C. happened?
Well, I hung out with a woman from Liberia, which I thought that was very interesting. If you don't know the history,
I don't even know where Liberia is.
Liberia is on the west coast of Africa. It is the only colonial, the only intended colonialization that the United States took in Africa. And what what the United States did a couple 150 years ago, was take a bunch of freed slaves and ship them back to Africa, and they started this country called Liberia. By the way, they named it Liberia after liberty. Their capital city is called Monrovia, named after James Monroe, who was the United States president. They all have names just like ours. And their last names are Johnson and Taylor and Farmer, and they speak English.
And Leverret.
And there are probably some Leverets.
Are you fucking shitting me?
No, and this is Liberia. It's in Western Africa.
That's some statist ass shit.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. You're telling me freed slaves left this place, went over there and named renamed their country after some statist ass shit?
Designed their constitution after the United States Constitution.
So how's that working out for them?
Well, it's one of the most poor countries on the planet. They just went through one of the worst and most brutal civil wars in the history of the world. I've talked about General Butt Naked on this show before. Remember I talked about General Butt Naked?
I thought you were General Butt Naked.
No, General Butt Naked was the name of he was in the Liberian Civil War, and what General Butt Naked and his troop would do.
Whoa. Is that his real name?
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
He was born born first name Butt.
No.
Last name Naked?
No. I don't know what his real name is. But now he's a Christian preacher. But let me tell you what he did.
So he's still alive?
Yeah, hell yeah, he's alive. He's a preacher.
So how long has Liberia been a
couple 100 years? But they just went through a civil war like 10 years ago. Oh. A brutal civil war. And General Butt Naked was one of their outstanding civil warriors. And what he would do was, before they would go into battle, he would sneak up behind a child. He would break the child's, or maybe not break the child's neck, but he would rip the child's back open and take the child's heart out, and then he would eat the still beating heart of the child and then pass it around to all of his compadres, and then they would charge into battle completely naked, wearing like blonde Marilyn Monroe wigs, and then they would completely just savage whoever they were fighting.
What kind of, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of preacher is Mr.
Christian.
Naked?
Christian.
Mr. Naked is a Christian.
Now he's a Christian preacher, yes.
Okay.
In Liberia, which is no longer in civil war.
And are they still a sovereign nation?
Yeah.
They still have a parliament of some kind?
Yes. Yes, they do.
And Mr. Butt Naked is not in criminal court for war crimes, crimes against humanity, eating children's hearts?
Nope.
Okay, well, I see why he named all their shit after fucking American shit. Yeah, it makes perfect fucking sense now, goddammit.
Yeah, so anyways, I met a girl from Liberia. I'd never met a Liberian before. She was actually beautiful. Beautiful woman. I met 16 Mongolian journalists who followed us around, and they were studying us while we were there. I'd never met a Mongolian before. We kept making jokes that they kept creeping into our territory. We kept wanting to call them the Horde, but no, they were very nice. Mongolian journalists. I met the editor for the Mongolian version of Cosmopolitan. So, I don't know. I just met a lot of really cool people. My favorite thing that I did, as many of you know, after I graduate from college, I'm wanting to go into the Peace Corps for a couple of years, for a service in the Peace Corps. And, so I was actually able to network my way up into having drinks with the lady who is the regional director of the Peace Corps for Europe, Asia, and the Mediterranean. And I want to be in Eastern Europe. And I had drinks with her. We talked for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, had a great conversation. And she told me when it comes time for me to turn in my application, don't send it through the normal chains, to send my application directly to her, and she'll put it in the right people's hands. So I think I'm in the Peace Corps. So that was fantastic. To me, the whole trip was worth it because of that. Met some people who wrote books. A lot of book writers. It was I really enjoyed Washington, D.C. I mean, it's not like it is anywhere else, meaning you meet a Democrat or you meet a Republican and you're drawing battle lines and you won't even talk to one another. Complete opposite in Washington, D.C. Best friends are on other sides of the aisle from one another. They don't care about your affiliation. They want to hear about your ideas. So I went to a lot of happy hours with people from both sides of the aisle. Met some libertarians. You know what else happened to me while I was there? I got interviewed for a job by Adam Kokesh. I think you guys know who Adam Kokesh is. He was looking for someone to run the business side of his brand so that he could focus on the creative side, on the activism side. So I went to his house, met the whole team over there. You know, they all live at the house where they work, where the podcast goes on. Interviewed there for maybe about 45 minutes or so, and a couple days later he called me back and offered me the job. And I was very flattered, but I had thought about it in the days between the interview and the day he offered me the job, and decided it didn't feel right. It just didn't feel right. It's not the path that I'm on right now.
I'm so glad you brought this up.
Yeah, I mean, Adam's a great guy. I'd met him before. Clearly, I've arm wrestled him, and I kicked his ass in the arm wrestling, which is why he offered me the job, I think, because he saw a superior alpha male specimen.
I am not doubting your manlyhood, but anybody who knows me knows that I am a hardcore, staunch Kokesh fan who will criticize him to his face about his DMV, DMT, whatever that shit is. It's just boring to me.
That's because you've never done it.
Well, I've never done it, and maybe it'd be cool, but I don't know that I want to broadcast. But it's his own shit. I don't care. Mm-hmm. I'm good with that. I'm not even talking about that. I'm a big promoter, as I know you are, Ben, of Adams in his life and his dedication, the things he's done, the things he's brought to light. Do you want to go into... Are you willing to talk about this?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Well, about this time that Ben was offered this job, unbeknownst to Ben, this video came out by Derek J. Freeman. And I've been very vocal about my opinion of the video. When I watched it, there was less than 100 views on it, and I didn't like it. I didn't appreciate it. And if we're all into agorism, like we all say we are, okay, fine, Derek. He made his choice to make this video that he made, and I took my side and I slammed his ass. And I took a lot of shit for it from a lot of people. A lot of people who want to see Adam Kokesh go down, and they're trying to buddy me up and trying to get me to join along with them and go after the guy with the big target on his forehead. And, you know, fuck them. So, some of them are friends of mine. I'm not trying to be mean or cruel or heartless, but I consider Adam a friend, and I'm just not going there.
So all this was happening between the time I interviewed and then the time he offered me the job. Right. I had no idea. I'd been gallivanting around D.C. with 16 Mongolian journalists and a girl from Liberia. I had no idea. I mean, I was not paying attention at all. So when he offers me the job, and then I did turn him down as politely as I possibly could, because I didn't go into the interview.
You've got personal reasons. That's right. Irrelevant. You've got personal reasons, whatever it is. I would turn it down. I couldn't afford. I'm not going to be that far from my kids. There's a reason in and of itself. I'm not going to be that far from my kids. There's no way in hell I would take the job. I mean, he'd have to pay me an ungodly amount just to fly back and forth, because I will not give up my time with my kids. I don't care who it is.
Right. And, the money for that position wasn't good at all. It was pretty bad. But it wasn't about the money to me. I mean, it was a cool opportunity. I mean, it would have been great. But so while I'm turning him down on the phone, he suddenly gets kind of still and quiet, and he goes, "Can I ask you something?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Does it have anything to do with this video that came out?" And I was like, "I don't No, I mean, I have no idea what you're talking about, man.
And I had just posted it like probably almost the same day, if almost not the same hour. And Ben didn't even, to the best of my knowledge.
No, I was out looking at memorials all that day.
I wasn't even. I had already posted it, and a lot of people assume, or some people, I say, assume that, oh shit, Ben saw what Caleb said, and all of a sudden he turned him down, and blah, 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 blah. No, he had no earthly idea that it had happened.
Yeah, and I hope Adam believed me when I said that no,
well, you got to admit, he's in a hard situation.
He really is in a tough situation right now.
He's holding a program together the best he can, and we all know, and I get some shit for this, and I still stand by it until you libertarians prove me wrong. Libertarians, by and large, are A, tight asses, or B,
broke asses,
or possibly C, you're so fucking principled that you won't
work for anyone.
You won't engage in the system because you don't believe in paying the tax to the man to fund the bullshit that is the United States government. I get that. I suspect that most people are not that principled. They like to be Facebook warriors, and I'm going to stand on Adam's side, and like I said, I've criticized him. I'll criticize his face on the DMT stuff, maybe because I've not done it. It's just not my thing. If he wants to do it, great. All I simply do is I go to another video, or I go to another book, or I go to another documentary, and then he puts out something else that I'm way interested in. And I'm interested in about 90+% of the content that the man puts out. But for you fuckers who think you have to go after someone just because they're on top, because there's rumors of he's an asshole. You know what? I take it back. Fuck Adam Kokesh. Fuck that Jew. That fucking tight end. Let's just come up with a bunch of Jew jokes. Yeah, Jew. Yeah, that Adam. He's just a typical tight end. I'm obviously kidding beyond belief, but my God.
To me, that was the implication with the video that Derek put out was look, it's just another example of these Jewish people trying to screw us over with money.
No, honestly, that implication never came across my mind. I never got the implication that Derek was being a racist or would that be a racist? Did you?
Yeah.
Religionist?
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it'd be racist. I mean, Adam's obviously not. He's an atheist. He's religion-wise, he's not into. But as far as his name and his background, culture. Okay, I never thought of Derek J as being racist whatsoever. I just thought he's being a baby, a child, and I've said this from the beginning.
I don't know what the situation is between them two. I've heard Adam's side of the story from him, from him personally, and I've heard Derek's side from the video. And to me, there's a lot of space between those two stories, and I don't care. Really, because that is between them. That's totally between them. Whatever. I will say, if anyone's listening, Adam is about to go through some. His brand is about to hit some serious growing pains. That's why he needs somebody to run the business side, because it's a full-time job just to manage the brand. And if you are somebody who is entrepreneurial, who has business experience, and can move up to the D.C. area for a few months, this is a great opportunity. I mean, it really is. You have a chance to be basically on the ground floor, and the idea is, to have Kokesh overtake Alex Jones as the big voice in the liberty movement, which I think somebody has got to position themselves to do that after Alex Jones showed off how crazy he is when he had his one shot. He had one amazing shot on CNN on that Piers Morgan show.
And he didn't have table manners.
No, he came across looking exactly like what the Piers Morgans of the world want us to look like.
Yeah.
It was so somebody's got to take over for that guy. So someone's got. I'm not trashing Alex Jones here. I'm not meaning to, but it's time for somebody to take over.
And again, I'm not necessarily trashing Derek J all the way. I mean, I've been a fan of Derek J. Freeman. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I saw his, Derek J's victimless crime sprees. I've seen most. I haven't seen all of it. I admire the guy. I really, really do. I think he did some wonderful things for me. And there's a reason that he made it on to Adam versus the Man. There's a reason he made it there, because he's solid in his beliefs. He did some great things, but holy shit, this hit piece that he put out on Adam,
over a couple $100.
Okay. I got a lot of shit from that. Caleb, a couple $100, that's a lot of money to some people. Okay, you know what, motherfucker, that's a lot of money to me too. But in my world, and maybe I stepped out beyond my bounds, in my world here in Bush country, $400 or $450, whatever it was, in 30 days, that is the norm.
Yeah.
You do
net
work
30. We do net 60 a lot of times
30,
in my
net
business.
60, whether it's $400 or $4,000 or $400,000, that's the norm. Mm-hmm. You don't take out a hit piece and potentially try to ruin someone's fucking reputation by saying the things that he said. It just rubbed me the wrong way. And
well, I don't know if Derek has a lot of business experience, though. You know, I think he has a lot of experience with morality and with the liberty movement. But when it comes to business,
well, okay, and
there are some things that you do in business.
I will extend this. If by chance, Derek, we know some of the same people. On my drive home from Austin, he was co-hosting with our good friend Christopher Cantwell on his show. The following week, I co-hosted with Chris. He needed to co-host, and we had a great time, and we talked for a whole 2 hours. And actually, I broke the news to Chris. He wasn't even aware of this. And he actually played Derek J's video, and then a short time later, a day or two later, Adam came out with his rebuttal, his video to it. And if for some reason if Derek does hear this, Derek, brother, I admire you. I admire the work you've done. I think you made a huge mistake. If I've missed something, and I'm sure I have, because obviously, like 99% of the world that you expose this to, we don't know the full story. If you would like to come on the show.
Maybe we shouldn't know the full story. I mean, to me, that's a business arrangement between the two of them.
He brought it up on YouTube.
That's what I'm saying. To me, that's, to me, that's the mistake. I mean, when you're doing business with people, most business is done on a handshake. Most of it is. Okay. I mean, I have contracts. You have contracts in your business, but
surely
more than half of the business I do is just done on a handshake. And
surely he would have known that going to YouTube and saying the things he said about Adam Kokesh,
right,
he'd better be able to back his fucking shit up, because Adam's got a big following, I being one of them. And there's thousands and if not tens of thousands of others. He'd better be able to back it up. And maybe he doesn't have the platform. Maybe his video is incomplete. Maybe he regrets it. I don't know. But if Derek would like to come on, I open up the mic to him. And he can just come on and give his side of the story. I'd be perfectly open to that.
Yeah, I would want Kokesh to come on and give his side of the story, because Kokesh's side of the story is that.
Well, the only thing about that is Adam is live while we're here.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah, I think that maybe there's an hour to overlap.
To me, here's the main point that I want to get. To me, that is between the two of them. I don't know why we all got in.
No, because of YouTube.
That's what I'm saying. To me, that's the bad move. I mean,
that's my point.
People have owed me shit. John McCain owes me $15,000. Carlos Mencia owes me $15,000. And you know how I'm going to deal with that? I'm never going to do business with those dudes again. That's how you deal with that most of the time. I'm not going to sue over $15,000. Well, and I'm not going to get on YouTube and make a damn Carlos Mencia hit piece because he didn't fucking pay me. Just because that just happens in business sometimes, and the way you deal with that is you don't do business with those folks anymore. If it's to a point where you think you should file a lawsuit, file a lawsuit. If it's a point where you think you need to go on YouTube and trash somebody, all right.
Okay, if you decide to go on YouTube, just be prepared, because people watch YouTube. People like me. And people like me just don't tend to let things like that go. Especially when you're picking on someone who, I consider Adam a friend. We're not great friends, but
Longhorn right there.
I consider him a friend. You pick on one of my friends. You pick on their reputation, on someone that has inspired me and motivated me, and I've learned so much from. Just be prepared. If you're going to go public with something like that, just be prepared. There's people like me who like Adam Kokesh, even with his flaws, and we're going to defend our friends. We're going to defend the people we like.
To me, it was between them. It should have stayed between them. You know, and I bet you this is why I think probably Derek just doesn't have a lot of business experience. I don't know. I mean, he might. Shit, he might be. I don't know.
Well, I will say this. When he published the video originally, he was not a YouTube partner. Mm-hmm. And after Adam made his rebuttal,
yeah, now he's a YouTube partner.
Well, trying to capitalize on it.
Yeah, so maybe it was a good business move then. He might have made the money back just in
but then
YouTube partnership.
He won't, because it's only up to a couple thousand views.
Oh, yeah, you only get like $1.29 per 1,000 views or something.
Yeah, I mean, he had made it.
Hey, maybe it was all totally planned. I mean, maybe they decided that...
Well, if it's all totally planned, then fuck both of them.
Yeah, it's not totally
we don't
planned.
Need another bunch of this kind of
I was there that week.
I don't think it was. I've had actually people tell me or message me that, maybe it was planned, but I'm about 99% sure.
Nah, that's just because we're so conspiratorial minded. We think everything is. Adam said it himself the best, and I can't go any further beyond that. And to one up him on that one, you don't fuck with Adam versus the Man, unless you're me and you're throwing down the arm wrestling. Yeah, unless you're Ben Farmer and you can fucking whip his ass. No, I'm kidding. No, I don't mean that. In all seriousness, if Adam fucks up and I've got hardcore proof that Adam fucks up, I'll be the first to say, Adam, you know what, brother? You fucked up bad, man. Mm-hmm. And if it goes public and if it's a big deal, then whatever. But I haven't seen that yet. He does things that I don't particularly care to watch. The DNP thing, I just don't care to watch it. Not that I'm mad at him about it. I just don't care to watch it. I've got a lot of. I'm so behind on my Rothbard reading. I'm behind. I just got a brand new book from Brave New Books, Frederick Bastiat. It's a whole collection. Mm-hmm. I'm so behind on my reading. I don't have time to watch people get wasted, stoned, high, whatever DMT is. I don't even know what it is. It's a psychedelic. Whatever. I don't have time. I'd rather learn and read books or watch documentaries. That being said, that's about the only real criticism I have of him. I don't really have any other criticism of him. I like the guy. Mm-hmm. And you fuck with my friend, you fuck with me, God damn it. Well, at any rate, it happened. It happened. I hope they work it out between the two of them. And, and then that's between the two of them. What were we had something else we wanted to, Oh, did you see what John Bush named his puppy? Yes. I thought it was so cute. I'm so proud of him. He named the new puppy Murray Rothbard, which I thought was awesome. Yeah, Murray Rothbard. Little black puppy of some sort. Really cute. I thought that was great. I suggested that if he ever gets a cat, he needs to name it Ludwig von Meowsis. And there's my own self-promotion and my silly joke. You were going to ask me something about disasters earlier? Like, how do you make money during a disaster? Or yes. Something about that. No. I have a little comedy bit I could play about that. Hang on. I do remember us talking about. It was oh my God, what was that? I think it was something somebody posted on Facebook. I don't know, man. Disasters. What do you call it? I remember asking you. Mm-hmm. What do you call it when someone? Oh yeah, when they capitalize on a disaster. Oh yeah. Was it called scalping? You were asking if it was called scalping, and I don't think that's the right word for it. I don't think it is either. There was a Facebook story, and I've already lost it. I mean, shit, that was 2 hours ago. Well, I can play a little bit about it.
It reminded me of the Katrina thing when there was obviously laws of power, laws of everything.
Yeah.
And there were these people coming in that bought up a bunch of generators from not just out of state, but like way out of state, drove their asses off it up there and charged like 3 times the price just to make the recovery back, and like they're getting arrested for it.
Right. Yeah, well, people do that. And then like construction companies go in and they make loads of money.
I can't remember where I was going with that, though.
Crisis. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of what Halliburton does. Like, that's their speciality. I mean, however, because their people are in high government places, they can also create the disaster and then come in and make the money. It's what do we call that? It's monetary terrorism or something is what the International Monetary Fund
if you ask me, it's
in.
called the free market.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
in a natural disaster, sure. But if it's like the United States policy towards South America,
no, it's a free market.
Okay.
A guy's not going to risk his butt just to go buy $100,000 worth. I don't know, 50 portable generators, haul ass to Katrina and sell it for a loss. He's going to sell it for a high price.
Sure.
They call it price gouging, and there's actually laws against that, and they'll arrest them. It's the law government getting in the way of the free market.
Wait, are you saying the government doesn't allow this behavior?
No, exactly. Yeah, I'm saying, of course they don't allow it. They call it gouging, and people get offended. Well, before Katrina happened, I could have bought that same generator for $2,000, and you're charging me $6,000. Okay, well, fucker, do you have electricity? Yeah. Well, okay, then quit your bitching.
Right.
But the guy who actually came up with the capital from many thousands of miles away, bought it, went to Sears or wherever and bought it, or maybe had them in stock. I mean, I don't know. And they were the going rate 2,000. He drove all the way up there and said, "Hey, I'm here to fulfill a demand. Y'all need electricity, right? You had a big fucking hurricane, right? You don't have any electricity, right? Well, I've got generators, and I'll take $6,000 a piece because that'll be enough to cover my inventory, my insurance, my gas getting here, and gas getting back, my truck, my trailer, my hired hands, my insurance, everything, and then I'll make a little bit on top of that."
Right.
And they go to the state and whine and bitch and complain and say, "Oh, he price gouged us because before Katrina, I get it for $2,000. He charged you $6,000. Well, don't fucking buy it then.
I mean,
rot in your own shit for all I care.
Let's hear what Patrice O'Neill has to say on the subject.
Yes,
we need your money right. Hope it's right. Hope it's getting better. That's another thing, man. Money. I mean, I make money, but I don't understand it. I wish I was one of these motherfuckers that understood money, where like people that see bad things happen, like earthquakes and shit, tsunamis. There's people that understand money that just start like jacking off when they see disasters. How many people died? Death and destruction, man. You know they lining up in Haiti to see who gets to rebuild Haiti. You know that, right? Them corporations, man, they got pistols out having fucking, at noon, fucking draw to see who gets to rebuild Haiti. And without Haitians and shit. They gonna do it. And you don't know where the fuck the Haitians at now. Where they at? I don't even know. They in Haiti somewhere. But they rebuilding all that shit. Turn into a big, fun park. And rename it. Because no one's going to Haiti, straight up. Come to Haiti. It's like, fuck no. It's just too much. So they gonna change it to some... Come to fucking beautiful grounds formerly known as, Haiti. Or they try to consolidate the Dominican Republic with it. I'm telling you, dude, watch. And they battling over that shit. And then they'll hire a couple of Haitians after they build the big hotels and shit. It's a motherfucker. I wish I understood money. Damn. But I don't know if I understood money, would I take advantage of people and kill them? I don't know. Like, because you have to understand money, you have to be willing to let you die. Like, I don't give a fuck about you, motherfucker. Your family? What? Fuck your family. I need money. You need to know, you need to be down with suffering. What the fuck? How much is gas? $4 now? I need to be down with how much you can't afford gas to, like, make money. But the thing I just don't want to be lied to. Just fuck me, right? And say that you fucking me. Like, don't give me fucked up speeches. Why is gas so high? I just like motherfuckers on TV because gas is high because we just felt like, you know, what you gonna really do? Like a press conference. Like, what you really gonna do? Stop talking shit. You ain't gonna do shit. Gas is 4. The reason it ain't 5 is because we don't want you to revolt. So we go from 99 cents. You know they did that shit with sneakers. Sneakers was 40. Then it go to, this is how they play you. It go from 40 to 80. You go, oh, right, $80. Then it goes to 65. You go, whew. It's still $25 more. But they fucked you hard, like, ouch. So your ass hurt. So then they fuck you slower. They make you think they ain't fucking you. But gas was 99 cents, nigga. Now it's $4. Cause they got us ready for the fucking, it was little Vaseline. We should be killing motherfuckers. But they get us used to the fucking. It's gonna be 7. It ain't no rhyme or reason for the shit. They just make it up. Then the bread price go up. You be like, excuse me, bread man? Why the fuck are your prices going up, nigga? Flour and wheat? It's really? And then they gotta say some shit you don't even understand. Well, when you're blowing, and then they show numbers, NASDAQ, and numbers just be like, and we would feel better if they just went, look, shit, listen, the price of bread going up. Because everybody else raised their shit. What, we gonna be suckers, motherfucker? What you gonna do? Nigga, send your kid to school with just peanut butter jelly by itself with no bread? Shut the fuck up, nigga. Just bologna wrapped up and the kids tease him and beat his ass because this nigga got just bologna? Shut the fuck up. I'm raising my prices too, nigga. Get used to it.
That's a good spot right there. Yeah, I mean, that's it. What you really gonna do?
Rest in peace, brother.
Yep. A little bit over a year ago, he died. He was just on the verge, too, man. He was on the verge of being huge.
I wasn't a big Patrice O'Neal fan at the time. I actually came to know who he was because of his death, which is unfortunate because there's it seems like a lot of actors or comedians, that type, they become famous, posthumous. Mm. Yeah, there's a lot of people coming around to George Carlin.
Oh yeah,
because of after he died.
Probably because of Facebook, because you see those George Carlin memes pop up, and then someone goes, "Oh, I didn't realize he was talking real shit. I thought he was just telling fart jokes." No, there's real shit in there.
Big red, white, and blue dick Jeep being shoved up your ass.
Yeah, exactly.
He was an anarchist from hell. I love the man.
Oh yeah.
And he takes it a step further. I'm still a Christian. I still claim to be a Christian, and he's obviously an atheist. And he pokes fun at not just Christianity, but to the best of my knowledge, he pokes fun at all religions.
Oh yeah. Oh, he just pokes fun at all sorts of... You know why he got arrested? His big arrest that happened in the 60s? I didn't know that. He got arrested because he refused to carry state ID because he thought that was ridiculous. And so they threw him in jail for that.
Really? Mm-hmm. In the that's before he really got popular.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Oh, speaking of George Carlin, did you know I cannot find Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure or Bogus Journey?
Really?
in
You can't.
Hastings.
Oh, I'm sure you could order it.
Well,
Amazon.
I would have to order it, but yeah, I wanted to show my kids.
Oh, well, yeah.
My
You could
kids
go
would love that.
Just go to Pirate Bay.
You know, Bill and Ted, they were dumbass, how do you put it, pioneers of their time. You know, they really had a really good saying.
Oh, yeah.
Be excellent to each other.
Be excellent to each other.
That's right. That's kind of the libertarian philosophy. Just be excellent to each other.
I hear
it's kind of like the golden rule,
Yeah.
but Christians don't follow that.
no, they boo people who follow that.
That's right. They boo them, especially when they're in, was it North Carolina?
It was in the South somewhere. I can't remember at this point. But yeah, they booed him.
They boo presidential candidates who
implore
the golden rule.
Golden rule.
You Southerners, whatever state that was, you know, fuck all y'all. Man actually running for president, actually invoking the golden rule.
And you boo him.
And you boo him.
Well, let's go bomb some more brown folk. Come on. We got to bomb the brown folk.
Yeah, and we are actually broadcasting from his right testicle right now. It's
That's
just
right.
kind of offensive to me.
Well, sure.
It's offensive to me.
What, that we're in the testicle or that they booed him for the golden rule?
They booed a man for invoking the golden rule.
Yeah, well, I agree, but that goes to show you, you know, some of the folks that we're dealing with here.
Well, I don't doubt. I see exactly why there are atheists. Because you Christians, you so-called Christians, and your fucking golden calves called government that you worship piss me off.
Yeah.
Even you scroll worshipers, and I know, Ron Paul, he's always talking about the Constitution. I get it. Like we always say, Ron Paul was the compromise. Mm-hmm. He was the man. He was the guy who actually...
could have brought us together.
He did his best to go by the set of enslaving rules, and he actually, I say enslaving rules, Article 1, Section 8, he actually gave his oath, said that's what he's going to do. He promised you, yes, even though it says, I'm going to steal from you, that's exactly what we do, but he didn't go beyond that. Mm-hmm. And you don't like him for that either.
Mm-hmm. Ugh. Yeah. You know, there was when I was religious, there was an old thing I used to say, that a Christian is the only Bible most people read. And that's probably why there are so many atheists out there. Because Christians tend to not set the best example.
Like Gandhi himself said, I like your Christ.
Yeah, absolutely. It's your Christians.
It's your Christians I don't like.
Right.
They like to steal from people.
Kill people.
Bomb people.
To torture people.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the things that have... Ugh. Yeah.
I want to do some more research on Gandhi.
I like Gandhi. I saw Libertarian Ann really tore into him probably about a month and a half ago.
She tore into it?
Yeah, she had it out for Gandhi, and we had her on the show right after that, and we kind of didn't get into it as far as I wanted to go, but, you know.
What was she ripped up?
I'm not sure. Probably for him being a racist, but...
He was a racist?
I mean, I've heard that claim, but he cut his teeth in the civil rights movement in South Africa. He's an attorney in South Africa.
I've not heard that.
And when he went back to India, he was against the caste system, which had been around for, thousands of years in India. I don't know. I don't know what her deal was, so I don't want to put words in her mouth. But, yeah, I like Gandhi. I mean,
she was in the chat room, and she abandoned us.
She abandoned us, yeah. I promised her that if she came on, we would talk about the death of Orville Redenbacher. And she signed on for that. And then we didn't get to her, and so she signed off.
Is he still alive?
No, man. He died in a hot tub surrounded by hot young women.
When was this?
95.
95? That was the year I graduated high school.
Mm-hmm. It was a while ago.
I didn't even know.
Mm-hmm. 95, man. Orville Redenbacher. Yeah, Orville Redenbacher, the popcorn guy, the old man.
Yeah, he like the modern day Playboy? What's his name? Hugh Hefner?
Like Hugh Hefner? Yeah, but you would never know it. I mean, you would not get...
He's on commercials with his grandkids.
Right. Talk about popcorn.
With his gray hair and his popcorn. No.
Died of a heart attack in a jacuzzi surrounded by big-tittied women. In his 80s.
I'm trying to find the downside.
Yeah, there's not one. I mean, he went out pimp style.
Oh, good for him. You know, if he's happy, good for him. Did he ever harm anybody?
Not that I know of, but I don't know. I haven't researched into him. He might have hated Jews. Honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah,
man.
Because I hate Jews, and we've already talked about that. That fucking Adam Kokesh is one of them goddamn Jews I hate. That cheap motherfucker. Living up to that stereotype of Jews.
You know what?
God,
I would like to praise
I hope people know that I am.
I think they know.
Severely.
Yeah, they know that anything we say on the show, if you took it out of context, you can't take anything out of context. That's why, like, when people get mad at comedians or something, I just go, well, you weren't there. What do you know? You know? You can't take anything out of context.
Are you saying I'm a comedian?
Who else? You say funny things.
Aww.
Sometimes you say funny things.
And most of the time I say stupid shit.
No, not most of the time.
Sometimes. Of course I do sometimes.
Everyone says stupid shit, though. I think we should give a big up to Liberty Movement Radio, though, that they allow us to get on here and talk shit like we do.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that. And you'll notice over to the left of the chat room, this chip in, the donate button looks like a little pill. That
pharmaceutical pill,
little pharmaceutical pill called Donate, and that money goes straight to operating costs of Liberty Movement Radio, and they're doing it for free. They are not making any money off this deal. We want to keep it going. We got to get some better equipment, and right now, I mean, we're making moves. We're starting to reach.
This is grassroots all the way. And speaking of, I've made the announcement. I will not be at the 420 event in New York City. That being said, I'm still a big proponent of it. I'm still plugging for it. Right above the cute little yellow donate pharmaceutical looking pill thing, there is it's called Donate to Caleb's Chip In, but whatever. I've invested a lot into this, and I'm still promoting it. I'll be moving to Austin, like I've said earlier. I've got a lot of things I've got to cover. A lot of things that I've got to do to take care of me and mine, and I'm still plugging for it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so if you want to chip in to that 420 Anarchy in New York City, there's also a chip in button right there. I probably also will not be there. I haven't definitively made a decision yet.
Well, nor have I. I mean, there are miracles. I do believe in miracles. They do happen. I've seen them happen in my lifetime. Maybe something will come around and the money will come around, but I'm leaning towards not coming. I had to tell Tracy that last week, and I felt really bad because we were planning on doing some songs together, and we were very excited about that. But it's just not looking like it's working out with my school schedule. I've already missed 2 weeks of school because of the D.C. trip, and I'm about to miss the whole second half of this week for a similar thing at the state government level in Austin. I'm leaving on Wednesday. I won't be back till Saturday. What are you going to be doing there? Are you actually going to be on the floor listening to some of the debates of the issues of the bullshit laws?
I'm not actually sure what I'm doing there. Just a professor pulled me over to the side this morning and invited me to come. So I really don't know. It sounds like we'll be kind of meeting privately with. It might be kind of similar to what I did in D.C., where it's like private lecture. They'll come in and speak to our class of 20 people or whatever, and talk about what they do for the government. I do know one thing that we're going to get to do is that you normally don't get to do, which is climb the clock tower at the University of Texas, which is where a school massacre happened in the late 60s.
Climb the school clock tower.
Mm-hmm.
I've not heard of this.
The clock tower.
A tradition?
No. Almost nobody gets to go up there because of a school shooting that happened in the 60s.
So why do you get to?
Well, because
are you going to plank it? No. You got to plank it.
No, planking's like 2 years ago, man.
Oh, come on! Is anybody ever planked the school clock tower?
I don't know. Maybe.
I'm trying to reach for my youth. I mean, come on! I've got gray hair. I'm 35.
Do you really have gray hair?
Damn! Oh, fucker! Don't act like.
Well, you're blonde, so it's hard to tell.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I've had gray hair for years. And I don't suppose a lot, but yeah, just
I had one gray pubic hair like years ago, like 8 or 9 years ago. I found one solitary gray pubic hair, and I plucked it, and it's never happened again. So maybe my balls got really stressed out at one point. Can your balls get stressed? Without your knowledge?
I can think of about a 5 or 6 seconds. Yeah, they get kind of stressed sometimes.
Yeah, but not without my knowledge. I think I would have a decent idea that, my balls are a little stressed out right now.
Okay, just plank it. Just take a picture. Come on. You just stick your legs out. And...
You want me to plank the clock tower at the University of Texas?
It's not 2 years old. Maybe a year.
It's pretty old.
Actually, I guess it is 2 years.
Yeah, if you want to call into the show, the number is 605-787-1254. Again, your number is 605-787-1254 on the Caleb Leverret Show on LibertyMovementRadio.com.
What else is on your mind, Big Farmer, besides your gray nut hair?
My one solitary gray nut hair. I'm glad we actually got to have a show today.
I am too. We got to get some. I'm going to have to start taking better notes, but I got some things off my mind. I mean, the Derek J thing was something I wanted to get off my mind and offer up, it for Derek to, if he wants to come on, maybe just say, fuck you, you're just some new radio guy. But, I'm glad we got to that. I'm glad you got to talk about the time I had with my children. My gay cat puss.
Mm-hmm. Django.
And Django, yes.
My God, that movie. It affected me. I mean, it's not just like you watch a movie. It, affected me. I had to really think about things. And I liked it. I mean, I'm not positive. I came out of that thinking it was better than Inglourious Bastards. I'm not positive if I feel that way anymore. It was... Because both of them I'll have to see it again. I've seen Inglourious Bastards 3 or 4 times, so I need to watch Django a couple more times.
I haven't seen Inglourious Bastards since I actually woke up. I liked it before then, though.
I got a phone number, a call coming in from the 432. You're on with the Caleb Leverret Show. 432, go ahead.
Hey, gentlemen, what's going on?
What's up? Is this Mark?
Yeah, this is Mark.
What's up,
Mark?
Hi, Mark. What's on your mind tonight?
Oh, here goes talking about the chip in. Is the money? Is the money the main thing, or is it the time?
As far as what?
As far as getting us?
As far as y'all two going.
For me, it's definitely the time. I don't think I'll have the time to do it.
Well, for me, it is partially the money. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've got a couple $1,000s plus tied up in the whole thing, sponsoring people, sponsoring the event, and had I not committed career suicide on New Year's Day, then I would still be going. But since I'm going to be moving to Austin, like a month and a half before, I just feel like I've got a lot of things I've got to take care of, and we raised enough money to get Antonio Beeler and a couple of, to fund a little bit of people getting up there, but we just hadn't raised enough. I certainly haven't recovered any of my costs of doing what I do. So, I mean, that's the reason I'm not going, but it's not that I don't support, what's going to be there.
Well, what's the cutoff? I see that the date, the cutoff is April 20th. What is for y'all cutoff for timeframe that y'all would like to have the money by?
Well, as far as me being able to go?
Well, I know a lot of plans going. I mean, if it's March 15th, and they realize you're not going to make their goal, what is the point where you start saying that's probably not going to happen?
I've already called it. And unless a miracle happens and a bunch of people wake up and start putting their money where their mouth's at, I'm just simply not going to. It's not that I'm mad at anybody, because I'm really not. It's just simply I've got a disease where I give too much, and I think I'm going to change the world all of a sudden by, my tenacity, and it's my fault. It really is. If all of a sudden we raise a few $1,000 in the next, right up to the day of, I guess, or the day before, just enough to give me a plane ticket to go and cover my time off, you know how, Mark, I'm sure you've moved a time or two in your life.
Right.
I've got to get moved. It costs a lot of money. It's not like I'm moving across town. I'm moving across the state, and I've got to preserve my time with me and mine, make sure my shit's all paid for with my kids and everything.
Plus, you need some cushion money too, because you don't know what the situation is exactly.
I've got the cushion money. I'm down to the cushion money, and that's where I'm going to stay. I'm not going to dip into my savings just to promote liberty. I'm just not going. I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, well, not this time.
I'll tell you what, man. I'll try to. I'm going to try to do my part between now and then. And I was talking to Dan a little bit ago about making some kind of contribution, but with the way it's looking right now, this seems like a pretty big event, and it would mean a lot to me, to go as well. But I just kind of get back on my feet, but I'm just kind of fell into a position where I'm doing pretty well. So I'm going to try to help that. Hopefully, there'll be some other folks that'll see it as well. But as far as plane tickets, I might be able to hook you up with the play pass if you want to do something like that.
Well, you are absolutely too kind. You really, and I don't even know how to accept compliments and charity. I'm horrible at it, but you really are too kind, and I sincerely do appreciate it.
What can we do to make a change? 'Cause we just wanna be free. We don't want this police state. We just want love and liberty.
Hey, this is Tatiana Moroz, and you're listening to LibertyMovementRadio.com.
Tweet up or make a YouTube video. Speak your mind with education. The knowledge will start to grow. So make a YouTube video.
It's just a shame that we have so many of these problems on this show, but whatever. You know what? It's free radio, folks. What are you going to do? It's free radio.
Are we back?
Yeah, we're back. We're good.
No,
we're good. We're good now.
You're not fuzzy? Okay.
No, not fuzzy. Oh, by the way, I've given up drinking for the next 3 months.
Pussy.
So I just, my liver needed a little bit of a break, I think. It's been I put in a couple of good years. It's time to give the liver a break until, the idea is 12 weeks, but I'll probably go longer than that. So, anyway, unlike most shows, we progress, typically we progressively get a little weirder as we go. I might be at fault for not doing that tonight. I don't know. I felt like we've had a good show.
I've had a great time.
Yeah, I have too. And we will be back tomorrow.
Regardless of the problems, and I've had a hell of a good time. We got a lot of things. We got a lot of things off my chest.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just glad to do the show again. It's been weeks. Just been weeks for me. You at least got to hang out with Jordan Page and John Bush and Antonio Beeler and Heather Fazio. Did you see Heather?
Yeah, she was on. She was on the show.
And see, I missed the show. The first night I just wasn't in a position where I could hear it. The second night I tuned in for about 20 minutes and heard Jordan Page tuning his guitar for 20 minutes before I had to leave.
Yeah, we had to do some tuning there, but it is what it is.
All right, 432, you're on with the Caleb Leverret Show.
All right, we got a better connection. I can hear you all now.
Yeah, that sounds much better in my headphones as well. So we were talking about the 420 event. Now Caleb and I probably not going to make it. I'm getting into the 80% range that I'm not going to make it out there. I was excited to at first.
Yeah, well, I'm still excited. I'm certainly going to be tuning in, but I'm in the 100% range. I'm not going unless, obviously we raise just a bunch of money to cover a bunch of costs, the money that I've invested in it, and then I could go. But like I said, I'm moving. So, I mean, if you've ever moved, you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of costs there.
Exactly. I hear you. But yeah, man, I'll try and help out as much as I can, and hopefully we'll get to that number. And it may take a month or two, but I think we'll get there. Just to give you a little bit of encouragement there. And
well, Mark, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, Dan was making a point before we kind of get that bad connection about Buddy Pass not really working too well sometimes because of standby. One of the things that had going for me is seniority, as far as if it's actually my stepfather. So he's got about 28 years with Delta, so he's usually up there on the seniority list. So.
Well, that's excellent. And by the way, I try to fly standby most of the time because I have a bunch of buddies who work for Southwest. And so I've flown standby lots of times, actually, and I've only ever been stuck a couple of times. One time when I was flying into New York, I got rerouted to Newark, which was a very expensive cab ride to get into the city. But, yeah, I mean, buddy passes are fantastic. If your choice is between paying $600 for a flight or maybe having to wait around a little bit for free, yeah, buddy passes are awesome. They're awesome. So, yeah, I think that's cool. I think my deal with the 420 event is I've got some awesome stuff coming up for me. I mean, I just did the D.C. trip, of course. I'm planning on doing a semester abroad this summer, which would be it would start in June, be gone for, I think, 8 weeks. I think it's 8 weeks. I'll be in Germany, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Turkey. I'll be all over Eastern Europe, all through the Danube region. So I need to save some money for that. And then in the fall, I'm planning on doing an internship in Washington, D.C. for the whole semester. So really, I'm only going to be here, for a few more months, and I won't be back again for another year. So I kind of need to save money. I need to put as much time in here as I possibly can. I need to make sure I keep my grades up, or else these things won't happen for me. And I'm already coming into the semester late. Now, luckily, I've only had 2 grades this semester, and I aced both of them. But that's only in one class. I still have 2 classes that I haven't even been to yet. I'll go to them for the first time tomorrow. And hopefully there's not any tests or anything, because I don't know what the hell. I haven't even bought the books. So I think that's more along my lines, is my responsibilities for school. And
my only thing is putting a roof over my head and getting back to Odessa to be with my children, because I will not. I refuse. I will not give up my time with my kids. So, you got to have your priorities. I do love liberty. I love promoting liberty. I love doing events and all that kind of thing. But when it comes down to it, I've got my limits, and it has to do with my children, and I can only go so far.
Yeah, and I think
understand that completely.
What we've discovered this entire time in the liberty movement, Mark, is that we have put forth a lot of time and a lot of money into certain projects, and thinking that all we have to do is prime the pump a little bit. If we prime the pump, then it'll we'll be able to break even, or then we'll make some sort of an impact. But it really hasn't worked out that way so far. I mean, we will do our part to prime the pump, and then that's it. That's all that ends up happening. So then now we're trying to put on a program on a budget a third the size of what we were hoping for. And it just seems like either libertarian, we said this earlier, Caleb said this earlier in the show, either libertarians are tight asses, or they're broke asses.
Or they're extremely principled, and whatever they earn, they do not want to pay it to the man in order to fund wars, fund the prison-industrial complex, etc.
Right, and I think that goes along with being a broke ass, a principled broke ass, meaning I'm not going to go work for the man, then I'll just have to pay taxes, so I'll just be broke. And if that's someone's choice to do that, I'm fine with that. I'm not money motivated myself, so I understand that.
I'm not quite as money motivated as I used to be. Money used to be paramount to me, and since I've awakened, I've realized it's not quite so much. I mean, I'm raising my children motivated.
Right.
That's what made. And there are the people that say, "Well, you can't raise your children without money." I mean, money makes the world go round. Okay, I get that. Mm-hmm. I get that. I really do.
To me, the secret is how do you remain principled and also make money? I mean, that's really what we should be paying attention to. And to me, that's through entrepreneurship. I mean, if you're the boss, yeah, you got to pay taxes to do business. Well, you don't always have to. There are even ways around that. In fact, starting your own business, you end up paying taxes up front for the licenses and whatnot. But after that, you've got your own LLC. Man, everything becomes a business write-off. Your gas, your cell phone, everything becomes a business write-off after that. If I go to dinner with somebody, I say, hey, are you going to go into any conventions coming up?
I've never been able to write off my prostitutes, though.
You can't write off? Oh, that's just 1099 them. just 1099 them, buddy.
So I can write them off.
Right.
There is that loophole. Okay, cool. I'm good with that.
As long as you don't pay them more than $600 a year, you won't have to pay taxes on them.
Okay.
Or it might be $500. I think it's $600 though.
$600.
If you have a 1099 employee, as long as you pay them less than $600 a year.
What if I pay them in Bitcoin?
I don't think they can tax Bitcoin yet.
Cool.
I'm not.
Or mountain hours?
Mountain hours, I don't think are taxable.
Okay, silver.
So I don't believe silver's taxable.
Cool. Precious metals, mountain hours,
or barter,
Bitcoins, barter.
Yeah.
You sleep with me, and I'll hoe your garden for a while.
There you go. A hoe for a hoe. How that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's swapping. Yeah, the man doesn't get any part of it.
Mm-mm. Exactly.
They do tax silver. They just chop off about a tenth of the coin. So.
Is that what they try to do? They might try to.
Completely making that up.
We got paid in silver for an event we did last February, and we immediately had to turn around and give it to somebody else. It was sad. I wanted to hang on to that for a while.
I've got a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Not much.
It was nice. It came in a little package.
No, I take that. We didn't have to. We chose to.
To turn around and give it to our vendor? We had to.
Well,
could have given him a check, I guess, or something.
Well, okay, the vendor, but I mean, as far as Molyneux is concerned.
Oh, yeah.
Molyneux, he's such a principled person, and yet he's very effective. He didn't even charge to be here. He said, buy my plane ticket and I'll be there. But there's no way in hell I was going to invite Stefan Molyneux to be the MC of our event here and just say, okay, you got a free hotel and you got to see this glorious wasteland known as the drilled up West Texas and I mean, some of that, he was even asking us, how can I can't do his voice. How can I get across the borders with these heavy gold bars in my pocket? I said, no, you got to think like a criminal, Stefan. Just say they're paperweights, they're knuckles, they massage your back because you've got...
So, yeah, as far as I know, he got back perfectly fine. Stefan's great to work with. And we listened to his interview last night on, whose show was that? I don't know.
Danny Panzella.
Yeah, Danny Panzella, and he was talking about, child rearing.
What he almost always talks about, not almost, but quite a bit, nonviolent parenting.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Caleb made me turn down the Pro Bowl, so I had to watch the Pro Bowl in silence.
I turned down the Pro Bowl because I couldn't fall asleep.
Caleb did. He passed out like a granddad.
I did. I passed out I'd say like a baby.
Yeah, okay, like a baby. I made ham hock and collard greens.
Ham hocks are disgusting.
They flavored the collard greens perfectly.
The flavor's fine.
Yeah,
trying to chomp into one.
Yeah, I didn't eat it. I had a couple of bites of the ham hock and gave it to the dog. But the collard greens,
the dog
were delicious, and the beans were good. That was our night. That was our night. Collard greens, beans, Pro Bowl on mute, and listening to Stefan Molyneux. That was our night.
I'm always boring. I can always listen to Stefan Molyneux.
Stefan Molyneux is great. I've listened to him for years now.
I've listened to you for a year.
Yeah,
singular.
Before I even moved here, I was listening to Stefan Molyneux. I was listening to the audio versions of his books. And
I've actually started one of his books that you butchered.
Universally
accepted, universally preferential behavior.
Yeah, that's the one.
And I'll probably butcher it.
Yeah, it's probably preferable. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
If you go to freedomainradio.com, he actually reads it to you.
Oh yeah, the audio version. So I would turn that on while I would try to sleep.
I'm about a third of the way through it. I haven't quite finished it, but
Yeah, he's great. He's got several books like that. Modern Anarchy, something like that. Anyways, he's great. He's absolutely great.
There are really people, and I get a lot of shit for this too, that think he's like a cultist. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
Do you ever get accused of that?
Yeah, I hear that.
You're just a Steph bot, which is coincidentally his YouTube channel name.
Right. Yeah, that's because
Ben, I'm going to ask you, what do you say to that? If you were called a Steph bot, someone like a Jim Jones type, someone who just worship everything Stefan says.
Sure. To me, the difference between what makes a cult leader is when they start telling you to shut other ideas out of your head. Don't listen to that. That's the devil.
Well, people would say, well, he slams religion all the time. Is he telling you to go away from religion all the time?
He's telling you it's not rational. But if you have a religious conversation with him,
and I'm merely playing devil's advocate.
Right. He's in fact, I'm certain of this, he's nicer to them than I would be.
Well, I'm a Christian. You're nice to me. You're my friend.
Yeah, that's true. But he would even listen. I don't know, because I'm not religious, so I haven't had that conversation directly with him. But I don't think he's telling you He's telling you why you shouldn't believe it. He's not telling you not to believe it. He's just saying don't initiate force. I'm
perfectly okay with him when he thoroughly makes fun of Christianity, because if you ask me, he's got every goddamn right in the world to do so. Yeah. Because Christians they're digging their own graves by the way they act.
Yeah, I mean, and not all of them, but
by and large are. And I am a Christian, so I can say that, and I've experienced it. Yeah, by and large they are. They are digging their own graves. By and large, Christians, your golden calf is the scroll. Your golden calf is government. That's the ones you worship. And I can prove that because all I have to do is say, God damn it. You're like, I wish you wouldn't say that. But if I burn the American flag and make a YouTube video, you're like, how dare he? I can't believe he said that. I can't believe he did that. Yeah, you know it's true. You know it's true.
Yeah, it is. To me, I'm beyond all that, though. I don't... believe what you want to believe. I don't care. Just as long as you're not initiating force against someone, I'll engage you in in the If you want to have the argument, then we can talk about it.
Okay, well, you've got to admit this, though. By and large, you got 7 minutes. By and large, the elected officials in what is known as the United States are more or less Christians, at least 80%.
Sure, I mean, they have to say they are at least in order to get elected.
That's what they say.
Right.
Okay, well, if you're acting on those principles, doing the things that the federal government does, and we all know that the biggest fucking bully on the face of the goddamn planet is the United States federal government, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, do you have any argument there?
No.
Okay, then how can you go along with the religious aspect of Christianity and the organized religion? It's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, how can you be a rich man at all if you're a Christian? So Jesus said it's more difficult for a rich man to get into heaven than it is to put a camel through the eye of a needle. I mean, it's pretty clear.
Okay.
There's a lot of things like that, but that's because Christians don't believe in Christianity. They believe in the modern version of what the society holds up as being correct.
Yeah, have your morals to an extent, and then when it comes to social behavior and the parties that you attend, then fuck all your principles. Just go with the flow because we got to make money,
right? Or we've got to kill some brown people, or whatever.
Well, you make money by killing brown people. There's lots of contracts there. Several
people do. A handful of people do make a lot of money that way. So, yeah, I can think of a guy named Richard with no pulse. That guy doesn't have a pulse, by the way. We're talking about Dick Cheney. Do you know that?
Richard Cheney?
Yeah, he has some sort of heart mechanism that is just constantly flowing. And so he doesn't have a pulse. It's not beating. That's creepy, right? I don't know.
Yeah, kind of creepy.
To me, it's creepy. To me, I don't know.
There was a time when I actually liked listening to Dick Cheney.
He's a crafty bastard.
Confessions of was this Taxi Cab's Confessions?
Okay, sure. Pull your titties out. Let's go.
Gay Cat Confessions. I admit I liked listening to him back in the day.
Did you ever hear the thing on Opie and Anthony where Donald Rumsfeld called in and Louis C.K. just kept asking him if he was a lizard from space?
Rumsfeld actually called in the Opie and Anthony show?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He's no shit.
Yeah, and Louis C.K. just would not let up. It's great. Louis C.K. I think it was Donald Rumsfeld. Oh, the internet's running slow. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to play a...
Well, hang on. Are we about out of time?
Yeah, we are. We are a little bit getting close.
I was going to play All the Single Daddies one last time.
Well, you already played it once. It's the same people.
Okay.
We didn't pick up a 9 o'clock.
You think so?
Yeah, we didn't pick up anyone else.
Out of 7 million people.
Out of 7 million. It's the same. We hold our audience, buddy. Maybe we'll play that tomorrow. We'll play the Donald Rumsfeld gets questioned by Louis C.K. if he is really a lizard from outer space. We'll play that tomorrow night. We will be back tomorrow night.
Yep, one more show for this week. We've got probably about 8 more shows before... We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe Ben and I will figure out how to do our show being 300 miles apart. I don't know. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, who knows? Or maybe I saw Eric Pitts did a show yesterday.
I haven't listened to it.
I haven't listened to it either, but I saw that he did one.
I'm gonna check this out. Brother Pitts has done his own show on his own fucking network, and I would say he's got every right in the world to do it. So
yeah, absolutely. I hope they talked about titties.
And if he did it by himself,
good, big ups, because it's tough.
It is tough. It is tough. And I criticize Limbaugh a lot for being the status summit he is, but I got to give it to him. He can broadcast. He is excellent in broadcasting bullshit.
Absolutely.
He's very, very, very wonderfully good at it.
Yeah, a lot of them are. I mean, those guys, they're smart dudes. They know what they're doing.
I don't like doing shows by myself.
No.
And if Ben Farmer's not going to move up there...
I'll be in Austin, but not for another few years. I've got a few years.
Well, okay. Well, our audience, we're not going to hold an audience for a few years without broadcasting. So.
Yeah, so...
No, but the thing about Austin is it is full of like-minded people. Who knows? I might fuck you. I'll find someone better.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. You have been listening to the Caleb Leverret Show here on Liberty Movement Radio. We will be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time here on www.libertymovementradio.com. Caleb, final words?
Be good, Mohawks. I'm out.
The Caleb Leverret radio program is dedicated to debunking the delusional American mythology known as statism.
Initiation of force is always immoral.
Always think outside the government. Always, 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 always think outside the government.
Always, always, always.
Ooh, baby, I like it